a lot of women complain about their partners or things
complain.
things
Okay,
have gone
wait,
wrong,
wait,
etc.
wait. Let's
A
stop
woman
it. Let's
wouldn't be a
stop. Let's stop
woman.
that sentence right here.
Right, I've got two sons as well. I do not want them to be raised in a world where they think that they need a Rolex.
But he said, let's go and hang out in Dubai. Dubai real.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out in Dubai anymore. I want to see the real world.
Have self-care, love yourself. I think people take it too far, okay? Everybody's got fucking standards, okay?
Women are the worst for it.
Why?
Can't say I want equality and then be like, you pay for everything. That's not equality. That's stupid.
You know, what
How long
advice,
did you think of this
what
scenario before?
advice
Is this
are
a
you...
hypothetical or are you actually telling us something
what
that's happened?
advice...
Is this your little sister?
What a
Hold
nice
on, you
restaurant.
can't-
Wait. But
We're living in a
nobody-
council
but
flat
no-
now.
But nobody in life should be selling you a dream. You should be selling that dream.
But there's guys out there doing that, is what I'm saying. So how does a woman find out that that's not that guy? Welcome back to Take a Seat, the #1 podcast out there for entrepreneurship, how to get ahead, mindset, motivation, and even lifestyle. You guys have said you want some girls on the podcast. Well, I haven't just got one, I've got two today. But before I go any further, I've got a bone to pick with you guys. 93% of yous are not even subscribed. Now, here's a little thing that from me to you. If you subscribe, I'll bring you even more better guests like we're already doing. My next guest, I saw them at the last property event. I believe networking is really important. They were sharing their inspiring stories and how they've got ahead. I thought it'd be quite selfish to keep them to myself. These girls are taking commercial defunct buildings and turning them into residential habitable spaces. So without further ado, let me introduce Priya and Jasmine, the hard hat developers.
Question is, which one is which?
Yeah, so I thought it was Priya and Jasmine, but
It's
Yeah.
Jasmine.
No, I'm Priya.
welcome.
Well, obviously.
How are you girls today?
Good, thank
Good.
you.
Got a question before we even start these.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing that you hate about Priya.
Oh God.
I
Just
can
one?
go first.
Go on then.
I'm always late.
Yeah, she's always late.
Okay.
I can guess what you hate about me, but
I
can you
just
guess?
said.
Can you guess what I hate about you? Well, in this current moment,
I don't listen.
that is actually
I
you
just
know what?
switch
I was
off.
gonna say that you got my coffee order wrong, but 100%. If she don't want to hear what you got to say, she's like, yeah. That pisses me off. Like, don't ask my question. Don't ask my advice. Why are you
Sometimes I
asking me?
don't ask, and I just get given.
Yeah, sometimes you need it.
So how do you make this relationship work?
Definitely a relationship.
It definitely relationship.
Sometimes I think I'm married to Jasmine and not my husband.
How do you make? I feel like.
You done?
Yeah, you do. You kind of get into a groove, but also I think we literally had the conversation on the way here, like just mutual respect and understanding. We also have very similar goals and values, so even if we're different, we generally
Because we work quite differently,
Yeah.
but we have the same end goal. And like, for example, Jasmine will work at night. I hate working at night. Like, night is my time out. Whereas I'd rather wake up earlier in the morning.
don't talk to me in the morning.
And I need like a couple of hours. Like, I used to go into the office a couple of hours before Jasmine, so I can get my shit done. Then I know when she comes in, she's going to be gassing, and then I can gas too.
Oh, I'm going to be guessing. Okay.
So,
Okay. That's okay.
like,
It's like a relay. You're passing the baton on to each other.
Like what?
so we work differently, but we know what we have to do and know how we have to do it. Like, for example, she'll never ask me, have you done your work? If I told you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it by this time. The only thing that we do occasionally get wrong is sometimes we think that she's doing it and I'm doing it.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
We've both got very similar work ethic as well. So it's never that one person's kind of like pulling the heavy load. You know that at some point it will even it out. So if I'm doing a bit more at one point because like prayer stuff going on or she's not feeling great and vice versa, you know, like it will even itself out. So you never feel like
I was meant to have
done
6 months maternity leave or whatever you want to call it. But I've come to the conclusion I need a lot longer. And I'm also never going to do this again. So I have twins.
Oh,
So-
congratulations.
Thank you.
How's
So,
that?
ask depending on what day you
A
ask.
beautiful chaos.
Because having one
Wait.
child is hard enough,
I
and having two of them.
I have one question. Where did you read A Beautiful Chaos? I need to understand where you found this from.
It's,
No,
because
Where did you
A
read it was beautiful chaos?
A lot of people ask you, "Oh, you have twins." For example, I was walking in Windsor last week, and this one said, "Well, one woman, I didn't talk to her. I had nothing to do with her. I was coming out of the lift. She goes to me, 'My heart bleeds for you,' and then she looked at my twins."
Oh,
I personally think that's fucking rude.
yeah.
Okay, my husband was like, "No, she didn't mean it like that. No."
I'm really gonna. I'm sure he's gonna be happy that you're mimicking him right now on the podcast, but sure.
I feel the fire from you, girl.
Yeah, because that you don't say
I'm
that.
getting hot right now. Like, oof.
I've been blessed with 2 babies. It is
Yes.
hard.
It's just
Yeah.
a beautiful chaos.
How'd you get through that?
What do you mean?
Do you just do it between you and your partner? Do you have other supports?
I have my mum. He has his mum. We have like
They
their
have a
family.
support system.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's really different being from like an Asian culture? Because I've heard like a good friend of mine, but they come from an English background. And I'm like, oh, I bet your mum loves this. And he goes, when she has time. And then when I met her, I was like, hey, Cindy, how's it going? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, so you're going to be look after the kids? And she basically was like,
No.
I'm going to try get out of it as much as possible. Like, you'll be lucky if you want to go to the theatre on a Thursday night
Oh, no.
and me to have the baby. And I found that quite
Weird.
and strange.
Yeah.
Um,
Because we have the opposite problem in our culture is that everybody's too involved. Like they think that they have the right over your children when they're your children. Do you understand my point?
I do get your point.
However, I'm saying it not from my experience because, like, I have a support system, and my mum and my mother-in-law have been phenomenal.
Do you think that plays a role? Your family helping you out with your personal life, with your kids, and providing that support system where you don't have to spend on childcare as much. You don't have to, worry about, oh, what am I going to do with the kids, or I can't go back to work because I have to do this.
100%.
Do you think that's why? Because a lot of people, all of my friends go, you brown people do it different. Why are you always millionaires, or you got nice cars, or you're
Well, because we
community.
live with our in-laws. That's what happened. We only have one house. That's the problem. No, like
So do you live with your parents?
I currently live with my in-laws, but we're actually probably by the time this airs, I would have been moved out. But like when I had my baby, I went back to work I started working because I didn't have a job, obviously. But I started working within 2 weeks of giving birth. That doesn't generally happen. My husband went back to his business the day after I gave birth. Like, we work, we make money. People think that it just happens. It doesn't just happen. You sacrifice stuff. Like, it happens. I'm now 7 months in, and there is absolutely no way that we would have been able to open up a brand new business and do our house renovations and do projects and do property without the support of my mother-in-law and my mum. It's just factual. It wouldn't have happened. And to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't personally have felt safe to have left my newborn with anyone else other than 2 members of our immediate family, because no one's going to love and care for him. Like, the free childcare is great. Like, I understand it. And for a lot of people, that's a massive factor in certain things. And if you can get it, it's amazing. But the financial side of it is like on the bottom of my list, because I was partly raised by my grandma. She had a massive part of my upbringing. She still does. Same thing with my husband. Same thing I know with Priya. Same thing I know with Priya's husband. Like, they have massive influences in our life. So there are things that my mum and my mother-in-law can give my kid that I and my husband are not able to give him. And that's not a financial thing. It's more of a value and time and languages, and just like we're still busy working.
You can actually give that. I can't.
Yeah, but my Punjabi's not as great. Like my husband's, my mother-in-law's, like my brother-in-law's Punjabi is amazing. I want my son to have that. I think it's phenomenal. But me and my husband are currently out hustling, trying to make sure that he has a better life than we had. So it's not to say that we haven't had a great life. We have. But can we give better? We should be.
We wouldn't be human if we didn't want more from what we own, what we had.
So what do you say to people who say, well, you're not bonding with your child, you're just focusing on money, and that's the only and you're going out, and you don't have that little relatability.
Children and working is a very, very personal thing,
mate.
How you choose to do that, and how you choose, like, for example, I have 2 boys, Jasmine has 1 boy, and we've done things slightly differently by not like choice or default, just the way things have been. There's no judgment. And it's the same way as when Jazzy had to go back to work after 2 weeks and I needed a little bit more time. It's no judgment. It is what it is. And likewise, your story, when you had your babies, it would have been different. And I think what people need to understand and learn is that everybody's path is different and there's no right or wrong. By casting a judgment over the fact that, I don't know,
Mind your own
Junior
business.
Junior has a dummy.
I think it should be
Like,
mind
that's
your own business.
Yeah.
Okay, look, fair enough. Mind your own business. Sorry,
everyone knows
one
Junior has a
second.
dummy. Sorry about that.
I don't care.
If you just take your mic and just try to put it under your chin, I just want to make sure
Which
that's
one?
all
Here?
good. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit more closer. Yeah, you
Can I
can pull the
dip
whole
it?
thing.
What?
Yeah,
Junior's
pull
going
it.
to hate me
There
when
you
he's
go.
like 15
Okay.
years old.
And
You
yourself,
too.
Priya.
Oh,
Put it by your chin.
Amazing. Yeah, pull it. Pull it. To you.
Yeah,
Yes.
bro.
Wicked.
I don't want to break something.
The audio is recorded separately, that's why. So I want it to be crisp. So as we were saying, right, I know it's about shut up and mind your own business, but sometimes people need a little bit of an education as well.
Okay.
So there's somebody who's going, well, I am thinking that, but she just told me to shut up, so I'm still going to go about my business and thinking it's not right. Everyone's belief system is different. Yeah. Yourself, you might be, which we are going to go into your journeys, your personal journeys a little bit more. But I know that, you have come from like entrepreneurial sort of background. So some of these things are quite normal to you. There's somebody who might be on a council estate or a single parent home, hasn't been given the best opportunities, and people think money is evil. There's people who believe that money is evil. Anyone with money, they're going to try to own you, control you. So stay away from them and hate on people like that.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that you're going out to earn money and opening businesses, buying up property, they're looking at you and going, we hate you already. And then they're going to throw their toys at the pram and going, you're not even spending time with your kids. You're not bonding with them. Money's more
But are these people
important.
who
So
Karens?
how do we combat that? Tell me what you mean, like from
Okay.
your point of
So
view.
ask me the question again. What would I say to someone that says, "Oh, you're not bonding with your kid because I'm
Or
going to work"?
someone's opinion saying that it looks from the outside that money's more important and businesses and making them sort of sacrifices, leaving your kids to bond with your mum or sisters, and you're not going to have that. So like by the time that your kid's 16, they're not that comfortable having the same sort of conversations around you because they haven't had that little banter with
I got
you,
I got the
etc.
answer. So let me answer this question. I don't have to take my kid to nursery because I have, and it's not that my mum is a single parent. It's just me and my mum. My mum had no support system in London. My mum worked 3 jobs, did a law degree, and raised me by herself single-handedly until I was 6 years old. I don't need, when I say I came from nothing, we had nothing. We had no support. My dad left. He had 2 other kids. He lived somewhere else. And my mum took care of me and her. That was it. We rented every single room out in our house. I lived in a room with my mum until I was 8 years old. My mum is phenomenal. My mum is like epic. And now as a mother, I appreciate her more. So when someone says to me, I go back to work, especially a female, when they say, when do you ask a man, oh, you go back to work, did you bond with your kid? You don't. Why am I a working mother? Why am I not just a mother who has a job? There's a difference. Like there is a massive difference. Everyone can run their households as they see fit. But currently for me and my husband, when our son decides to go, and our future children, I hope we can take our children to school and not need to worry for other people taking them. They don't need to go to after school kids, after clubs, whatever they are, after school clubs, whatever, because I have to go to them. Our child doesn't need to, because we have the flexibility, because we struggled and we sacrifice things for our children that later down the line, they don't have to. When our children grow up and they want to, I don't know, let's say be an artist, and they want to go to expensive art school and they don't have to work a secondary job, or we can fund that, or they have dreams that they don't have to suffer like we did. So I'm all right with that. I'm all right. My kid is bonded with me because guess what? I still put him to bed every single bloody night. He still looks for me. I still know everything about him. Please believe my son is 7 months old. I still have cooked every single meal for him. Everything is still handmade. Because for me, when I realised that I can be an entrepreneur, I can run a business, but I can also still be a phenomenal mum. Not one has to be sacrificed by another, because my son is having shared love from other people in our family. That's me not being bonded with him. That's incorrect. He's getting love from other people. He's understanding that he is loved unconditionally by other people, not just his mum. He doesn't need to just come to me. If he has a problem, he is able to go to my mum, his other grandma, his dad, his uncle. He can go to his Auntie Priya. Like, he has a village. He should be able to. He better be able to come to you. I tell you that for free. Like, do you know, like, it should be that. Why should it just be that if I've gone to work and I'm not with him for 6 hours a day, and that's maybe twice a week or whatever that might be in that week, what it looks like, why is he not bonded with me because I was away for half a day? That makes no sense. And if I need that half a day for him to be bonded with me, then something's gone terribly wrong here.
Also, currently they're so small that they don't really know they don't, like, my twins, I selfishly last night stayed the night at my mum's, so I have had one night of sleep since they've been born, uninterrupted. I still woke up every 2 hours to check. I was looking in the cot because I have cots in my mum's as well, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can go back to sleep. There's no babies here. But this morning when I was on FaceTime with them, they had no clue where I was. They didn't care. I was talking to them. They were smiling. They're happy. As long as they're happy and they're content, they're not with strangers. They're not on the street. They're still getting their feeds and, what they need and their care. And that's the most important thing.
I also think it comes full circle because I think I look back at my life. I'm now 33, and there were parts of my childhood that I remember thinking to myself, like, I didn't get that. Like, I remember between me and Priya having this conversation, like, really over something very small. Like we were talking about frozen food, like cooking batches of food and putting it in the freezer.
Because my babies are about to start weaning. Jasmine's already has.
So, like, because my mum, like, worked, my mum, like, cooked on a Sunday and cooked properly on a Wednesday. Then we'd have maybe, like, food in between. But say, like, there might be, like, she might have, like, batch cooked. And that was just normal in our house. So sometimes she might, and then we grew up on a budget. So, like, say if there was chicken was going to go off, it'd go in the freezer. Then we'd eat it later. We'd defrost it. It's just normal. Like, to my household, that's normal behaviour. You chat to Priya about having some food in the freezer. This girl was like, what? What do you mean there's chicken in the freezer? Because in her household, because they had a bit more of a village locally, her mum had a bit more support, and they just had that one difference in the household. Priya's mum's cooking is like phenomenal, and Priya's mum is like fresh food all the time, which means that Priya also believes in fresh food all the time. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just different. So when I talked about frozen food, like I'm going to batch cook and freeze it, she's like, what? This is weird. Why would you do that?
I asked a question because it's hard, especially when a baby's eating like this much and you're making this much.
Okay, don't talk about the baby food. This was prior to baby food. I will call your husband and chat to him about this now.
I don't like using a microwave if I don't have to. This is generally just for me. I don't like using it, and I prefer to make less food if possible and have it on one day and then make fresh food the next day. That's just the way it was, just the way it is. It's nothing against it. I didn't know that.
But it's just different. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just different households growing up different. So, like, for me, I don't even think anything of it. The way we look at things is just different.
And now, with the 2 kids, I'm like, bloody hell, I need to use my freezer because I've got no food tonight.
So there's a few things that you've touched on there, and I just want to pick them out a little bit. First of all, the thing that you said, the kids don't know, when you're around or not. But there are studies that are showing that, kids smell their parents, they have that motherly bond. And maybe sometimes when they're not as close with their mum, they become a bit more colder later on and things like that. So how do you combat with that? Because I did notice you say you have more flexibility as well. Do you put a different shift in, or how do you work around it?
I rarely leave my kids currently, so I feel like I would be talking. I don't have the experience. I last night left my kids for the first time and
don't get upset. Okay, they're nearly 5 months, so she left them for one night. I've one night.
My kids were also premature. They were in hospital for 5 weeks. They came at 33 weeks.
Neither of us have left our kids for like one night at her mum's, but they were with her husband. Like, we're going back to work, but we're doing things. There's never like a prolonged period of time. Like, I have a different thought process to Priya. Like, even our parenting is different. Even like when we both got pregnant, it was always assumed. So when I decided to start on my venture into property and owning my own business, it was because of my upbringing. I was like, I'm going to start a business. I started when I was 19 because I was like, when I have kids, I want to be home. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to have to worry about finances. I don't want to have to rely on my husband or my partner. I want to be able to be like independent. And then I had my son. And actually, I am a better mum for having adult conversation. I'm a better mum for, I don't go out for prolonged periods, and everything kind of almost just hit at one time. And if I'm honest, someone a little bit lesser would have, if I didn't have a village, I would have suffocated of how much stuff I had to deal with when we first had our son. But you rise, you figure it out. What are you going to do? Crumble? No, you figure it out. there's a reason I'm doing something. So my whole life dream was to sit at home and be like chill and be that mum that goes for coffees and, you know, like goes to the park and
Yoga with baby.
yeah, I'm out. Like, you know what? My son goes to all of his classes. He is number one priority. He's the one thing in our household that never gets dropped. I've overspent on a renovation somewhere because I made a mistake, but he never suffered. But that my property business might have taken an extra couple of grand hit somewhere. Was I annoyed? Yes. Did I get over it? Yeah, because that happened. It is what it is. But like, I believe he knows me. I've never left him. I also exclusively breastfed up until 5 months old, and I still worked. I believe you can do it all. Do you suffer? Do you suffer in certain places? Yes, but I feel like being Asian, we had a village, and my village is what has enabled me and my husband to be able to rise to all occasions. And I'm extremely grateful that we have two parents that support us wholeheartedly in what we do. Even though they don't always 100% understand what we're doing, they are behind us. They support us. They support the way we raise our child. They support the way we start a business. They support where we're living. They support what we're doing. And they ask no questions but turn up unconditionally and help. And I feel like that's all you can ask for. And if you don't have those sort of people in your life, they need to be removed.
I like that. I believe, look, from your story, what you've told me today, Jasmine, it kind of like I can see some sort of pattern, and I can see how sometimes how hard you're working, because sometimes you think where you came from and you don't want that, and then especially you don't want that for your next generation. There's a quote out there that says, "Hard times create strong people. Strong people create easy times. Easy times make weak people." So effectively, you said earlier on in the conversation that my son doesn't need to do this. If he wants to go art school, I'll pay for it. Like, how do you create that same hunger in your next generation? Because you've seen hard times. You've had to eat frozen food. You've had to, see
Not
single-parent
frozen food.
But I mean, like food that's been frozen, and then you've had to reheat it, etc. Do you know what I mean?
I don't believe that's hard time. I feel like we need to put a caveat out there. Eating frozen food does not equal hard times. It means that you have thrifty parents. Like I feel like I could be a billionaire cash in my pocket.
And
I will still be that thrifty person. Please call anybody that knows me. I'm that thrifty. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that. I'm just not that person. My mum is
your son won't be that person.
No.
Maybe he will. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let Priya answer this question because there is no one better.
Fingers coming out.
No, there is no one better to answer this question.
Yeah.
You know why,
Come
right?
on, Priya.
I don't know why, but I think I do, but I don't know.
I think you know it. So I'm going to let Priya answer this. And let me actually wait. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you believe that Priya is quite a hungry person? Like she's quite, what's the word? Entrepreneurial. She's quite like, what's the word I'm looking for, Priya?
No.
I don't know. Like, do you think she's...
Listen, the fact that you both were
do you
on
think
a
she's
big...
motivated?
Listen, the fact that you both on stage in front of 300 people, you seem motivated enough. Not your normal average daily person can get up and do that and put up a presentation. So
I come from a family where...
That's why I'm going to let Priya answer the question.
I come from a family full of entrepreneurs. I don't have... as in my parents' generation, not one of them are employed by someone. They all have their own businesses and their own rights or do whatever as such.
And they're all very successful in their own rights.
So I've grown up in a family around entrepreneurs and business. So when you say, are my children going to be hungry? Of course, because I'm still hungry. I was raised with my dad having a travel business. When I was younger, we're talking about now, like when I was, say, 3 years old, 4 years old, my sister was born. My mum had to go back to work. So we then hardly saw my dad. To spend time with my dad on the weekend, I used to go to his office with him and get McDonald's as a treat. And that was for 4 or 5 hours because when my dad would come home in the evening, we'd be asleep because I was 3, I had to go to school the next day. We rarely saw him.
How did that make you feel? Like thinking
Growing
back
up,
on it now.
Growing up, probably I was a bit like, not sure I enjoyed the fact that I didn't get to see my dad or my dad wasn't at my sports day. Or
You think it made you angry?
No, I don't think it made me angry. I think it made me... So if my dad wasn't at my sports day, my uncle would be at my sports day. It was like, one or the other, like, or this person would be there or my grandparents would be picking me up or vice versa. So then now when I look back on it, my dad made hundreds, and so did my mum, because my mum, we have family business. We made hundreds of sacrifices so me and my sister could have the life we had. And that only in turn made me more hungry to do better than he has. Not that he hasn't done well, he's done phenomenally well. But my dream now is to do even better. Why? So I can give my parents an easier life as they get older, because we're all getting older. They're going to say one day, actually, Priya, look, I'm done. I want to know that I can take care of my parents, my husband's parents, and my children all at the same time. And then at one point, my two boys will see how hard we've worked, and then they're going to want more.
It's not like that though.
But there's, there's a difference. There's a massive difference between handing stuff to your kids on a platter, I believe. And do you know what?
Yeah.
And no judgment as you go along, because I honestly believe that in life and in parenting and in business, a lot of the time you're just figuring it out as you go. You make a few mistakes, you realize that's not what you want to do. You sidestep, you adjust, you figure it out, and you're gonna have to be okay with making mistakes as you go along. We've made mistakes in our business, we figure it out. We've made mistakes in our personal life, we figure it out. You know, as long as you're learning from your mistakes, that's all you can do. I don't want to be the same as my mum. Like, I don't want to be the same as my mum. I want to take some of the things that she's learned. I want to take some of the things that, like, my mum's work ethic is second to none. I honestly don't. I've never met anybody that works like my mum does, and I'm sure loads of people feel the way about their own families or whatever. But it is my mum. I am strong because I've watched my mum be strong. There's no way that I cannot be strong. So I feel like you're an example to your kids. Like, I can have money. I have money. You don't. Same thing. My mum has helped me in many ways that not just financially, there are ways that she has helped me, you know, to understand things and to teach. And like now at the moment, she's helping take care of my son. And I appreciate that you teach your children certain things. Like, my mum is all about values. My mum is a very kind person. Even like with Priya's dad, like, he is such a good dad. Like, I have a dad. When I watch Priya's dad, he is goals to me. Like, you want to be around them. You appreciate the way they are for their family. Like, some things, and I think this goes back to being raised by a village, is that some values you learn from older people in your family. Like, I am quite traditional in certain senses because my grandma raised me. I can speak Punjabi because my grandma raised me. It's a certain part of my culture that I love having, because you're raised by different people. You have bonds of different people. You have understandings and values and lessons from different people. So I don't believe that. And that's also not to say just because your parents have money or have financial stability doesn't mean that their children won't. I think sometimes it's about what you teach your kids and how you implement certain things. Like, if they have a dream and I can help them, I should. Why would I not? But would myself or Priya give them everything and not make them humble as they go along, or understand where myself or my husband or Priya's husband came from? No. And if they're going to become bratty, then I'm out.
Yeah. Then you don't get anything. Then you go and get a job and you figure your shit out.
You should have a job anyway.
Yeah.
But
if
you have a dream and I believe in it, like, just like our parents at some point, when we delved into a massive project for me and Priya, we were over £1 million in build, we were over £1 million in purchase. It was one of the very first projects myself and Priya did together. And we were so scared because it wasn't under permitted development. It wasn't in an area that we had been to. We were selling, we normally hold. There were so many what ifs with this project. And do you know why we were able to be okay to do it? Was because both of our parents, my mum and Priya's dad, especially because they're kind of mainly in property, they
wholeheartedly supported
everything. We'd send them a spreadsheet just because we were a little bit not confident on it. So it's not a financial thing. Sometimes it's about a confidence booster. Yeah. Sometimes it's an understanding of who your child is and understanding that I know that you might be scared, but I know I've done it. So I know you can do it because you're my kid. I understand that. And sometimes people think, oh, your parents have come. You don't know anything about people's backgrounds. Like, not really. You don't know their hardships or how they've grown up and stuff. But for us, both of our families are extremely supportive in us. They believe in us as people.
And if they don't, they're going to tell you.
Yeah. They're so honest. Like, this was a dumb decision.
Do you think you're a different breed? Like, do you think people, like, because you've come from an entrepreneur background, business sort of background, and you can rely on people around you, like your life is around business and entrepreneurship, and you relate success to them sort of things, and you're more on a different path than your everyday person.
I think it's probably different because my family is not, my mum is the only person in my family who has a business, but also she's not actually, no disrespect to my mum, and I've said this to her face, she's not entrepreneurial like that. My mum is like a book smart person. She's a lawyer, but she did a degree and took her 6 years to do it. She basically had excess money because my mum was extremely frugal. So what she did was when she had a higher salary, she was still living life on her very basic secretary salary. She saved and then bought a property. So she was very old school and very kind of like the norm. How, you know, back in the day it would work. You know how like immigrants came into the country, they hustled, they worked, they saved, they bought properties, and so you've got maybe a whole generation of like uncles and aunties that have properties on the side because the old system worked for them. They had a retirement plan. The retirement plan was sick. It was good. Now it doesn't work for us, but they also had spare money. Everything was on a budget. They lived with in-laws. You know, like everything was like cheap. So they saved and they bought property. That was my mum. She had an amazing salary. She ended up working, and then she'd been working for like 15 years as a lawyer, and then didn't realize that she was still all these years living on a £7,000 a year salary. So she had saved all this money and she'd bought property, and it just kind of worked. So my mum's not really entrepreneurial by nature. It was more that my mum is a saver, and my mum is of the generation of like, I don't want everything to be taken away from me. And that's how my mum built a business. So my mum is big on me, and she knows me, but she's not big on that business.
How did that switch happen then? So what was that switch inside you to say, no, I want to be different? Like that wasn't just your belief system, copy and pasted, that I must go and get a job, I must save, I must do the same pattern. You've obviously had a switch in your brain to say, no, I want something a little bit different.
My mum's always said to me when I was a kid, like, you're never going to be able to work for someone you've got. And she should be like, you're too opinionated. You can't listen. You don't listen to people because you're not going to be a very good employee. And she was always just one very big
you're
thing.
not very.
Out of the two of us, yeah. I'm pretty sure the thing that I don't like about Priya is that she doesn't listen, FYI, just circling back to the beginning, Priya. But she was just like, she said, never be financially reliant on anybody other than yourself. It was always drilled in because my mum was like the first person, like she got divorced in 1992. That don't happen in Punjabi families. Like her whole family was in the Midlands. She was the only one here. They'll come back, get married again. You know, maybe your mum will raise your daughter. You can get married. Someone will find you. Do you know, like my mum was very against the grain, but not because she wanted to be, just via circumstance. And then my mum has risen to every single situation she's been given, and she's risen, but she's risen with such like I don't know what the word, like elegance. As she's done it, she's just leveled up every single time. So I feel like when it came to like me, she was very like academic, get a job, do this, be a lawyer. And then she got to a point, she's like, do you know what, Jasmine, just be happy. Just be happy. Whatever you want to do it well. Don't be an asshole. My mum was always like, don't screw people over. Don't lie. She's very, like, even Priya's dad.
Just be a good person.
Very, very ethical people. We, both myself and Priya, would walk away from deals, walk away from people, walk away from money. If it don't feel right, we're okay. We don't need to screw over anybody. We don't need to work with people that we don't like. We don't need to work with people that are shady. I don't need to sit here, like Priya said to you at the beginning when we weren't recording. Maybe you were, I don't know. But like, Priya's got nice shit, okay? Priya's grown up around nice shit. The people Priya knows, like, and this, like, it's just, you know, like, I'd walk into one of, like, her family's house, but like, whoa, this is so nice. Like, this is amazing. Like, oh my God, this is so normal to Priya. But you look at Priya, you'd never know. She's got nice shit. She don't, like, front it anywhere. She's not that person because she don't believe in it.
I just don't believe. I feel like a lot of investors, a lot of property people, a lot of entrepreneurs, they all like to brag about their watch, their car. They're sitting in first class. They're getting a private jet. I don't actually care. That means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. It means I don't care if it buys you social media people or whatever you followers or whatever you need, it means absolutely crap. I don't care. I want to know about your story. I want to know how you did it. I want to know why you did it. I want to know what method you used, what process you took. I don't care that you have a Rolex. I'm sorry if you have a Rolex. I don't care. I don't care if you have whatever you have. It means nothing to me.
she doesn't know.
I'll still like my Apple Watch, do you know? Like, it tells me my steps every day. Anyway.
No, just on this point, yeah. So the way I was going to introduce this podcast today was like, welcome back to Take a Seat. We've got two entrepreneurs who are millionaire. They're both female and they're kicking it. Yeah. And you were ready to fight me, girl. You're like, "Arr."
Ask her the question.
Because,
I want to.
okay,
Still
let's,
sure.
let's take it back to. So
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got
We're going to
hold
debate on this
You've
now.
got two sons, right?
Yes.
All right, I've got two sons as well. I do not want them to be raised in a world where they think that they need a Rolex, that they need a Ferrari, they need this, they need that. They can have all the finer things in life, but you work hard. You work hard and you achieve things and you get them progressively. I'm not the mum that's going to say, oh, do you know what? You're 18, here's a Ferrari. No. Did you work for that? No. So why would you get that?
Priya, that's a lovely opinion. And I like the way you say it.
But-
But unfortunately, you're not going to be heard out there. Yeah. Because you release that.
Isn't that a problem with the
you
world then?
release it. And then, because you know what sells? Negativity sells, yeah. Something you say opposite to create a reaction in somebody.
No, and-
You can't say, "Oh, you're gonna make it if you just follow
But
this
that's
program."
a whole
This is
problem
what
with
you've
society
got
now.
to do.
What are you teaching your
Yeah,
children
so
then?
how do you say? Look, then you have to adapt yourself to
Okay.
communicate
So
with
we're
people,
teaching,
right?
wait, let me ask- let us ask the question.
we're
Yes, go on.
teaching our children to be negative. That's the connotation that we're here progressing. So you can do this, but you can't do this, or you can do this. Correct? You want a reaction from me, right?
No, I don't want a reaction from you right now. For
No, as in,
example,
like, that's what
no.
You don't want it.
It's
He's not here for it.
it's
So
basically
thank you so
we
much.
disagreed on that. Yeah, we disagreed
I
on
still
that.
disagree.
I want to introduce you as a millionaire because you're a millionaire. You don't want to be introduced as a millionaire because you're like, oh, that's like showing off. That no, it's not. People want to follow a millionaire. They don't want to follow your average Joe. You know, and if they're following, why should I follow him?
Shall I
Like,
tell you something?
I'm not aspiring to be like that.
You can probably learn more from an average Joe than you can from a millionaire.
Yeah, you potentially could, but the society doesn't teach that.
I think that.
So you're not going to be heard out there.
I think I personally feel like the problem is that people want everything quickly, and what happens is everyone's expectation of life is quick. Like, how many events have you been to that they're like, oh, you know, like, I raised 2 million in funds. Okay, great. Maybe you did raise 2 million in funds, and I'm gonna, let's just say I believe you on what you're saying. But how many years prior to that, say you've been in property 2 years, you've raised £2 million in 2 years, but how many years prior to those 2 years did you hustle to meet these people? Or did you already know them?
Yeah.
Or like you're in the industry and you're already planting seeds? It's not 2 years, it might have been 4 years. So you're giving people unrealistic expectations of how long things take. And that's the problem. You can say, I'll happily say, on paper, I'm a millionaire, I have £1 million in assets, no problem. I don't care. That means sweet FA because I don't have $1 million in my bank. Because I don't have it. Like, I don't have it in my bank. And people are going to say, oh, why don't you have them? You got property, you should have it. You don't know nothing. The problem is people that are not investing have more opinions than people that are investing. And the reason that these people have more opinions is because they go online, they listen to some people lie and give like an overall like, oh, so pretty, you know, you can just buy a no money in, no money out deal. No. You know, buy 40k in Newcastle and you get this and it's like all perfect. There's no effort into it. And then they're like, oh, I've got money left in a deal.
Can you do a Newcastle accent?
No, I cannot.
No?
I actually cannot. I'm just mimicking. I'm just mimicking some fool that's turned up at a property event, and actually, they have no education other than someone they've watched a small advert of someone selling them a dream on Instagram or on TikTok or on bloody Facebook ads or whatever the shit it is. And then they're like, oh, I know my neighbour bought a house. Yeah, oh, do you know what? Your neighbour, they don't know anything. Go and get educated properly. Go and understand what you need. Go and understand everything that's involved in it, because people want a property. We have like people come up to us for coaching and we're all here for it. They're like, okay, so next month I want to buy a property and I have no money. How do I do that?
Yeah.
That's-
I had a call on the way here, I haven't even told you. And this guy has deals, but he hasn't got any money, and he's wanted the call to see if I would give him my investors' contact details.
Wow.
And I said, why would I do that? I asked the question, why would I give you my invest? They may have excess funds. But if they have excess funds, I would be taking the money. Why? I'm sorry, every man for himself right now. I worked hard for those, for that contract, that relationship. Why would I just give you a number of someone who invests with me? It doesn't make any sense.
I think you guys are like totally correct on this one. I mean, look, so many people say you want to be an entrepreneur, you're more flexible, earn X amount of money. But to be an entrepreneur, oh my God.
The sacrifices
you know
that
what I
you
mean?
have to
You've got to
make.
turn up on building sites, your builders there, your materials there. And all you see on Instagram is check this out.
There
and
we
it's just
go.
changed. It's like, yay!
that shit-
I want to be a property developer. Do you know what I mean?
somehow.
That's exactly
going
what
to
I
the gym.
mean.
It's
But
like going to the
really,
gym.
the mental health that you go through is like, he ain't turned up again. The finishing.
You're on,
the
no, you're
silicone
on holiday.
there,
You're
handle
getting
there.
phone calls. You're literally
And-
about to leave at the airport, and you're on your laptop sending stuff. You know, like you're at family events and you're taking phone calls. Like I was at the Madonna concert with my mum yesterday, and there was like a plumber turned up. The tenants like somehow got my mum's number. It was a shit show. My mum's like, bro, I'm at Madonna. Like I paid £200 for the seat, and I'm getting phone calls
Forget
from plumbers.
that.
Like what?
I remember it was my sister's wedding day. My dad was trying to
Oh,
close the
yes.
deal. He's standing in the driveway trying to close the deal on the phone with, had the funds come. I said, put the fucking phone down. Your daughter's getting married. If she sees this, she's going to go absolutely mental. My dad was like, no, but today is the day, Priya. Today is the lucky day.
Wasn't I have to go outside the
Yeah.
godmother?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I was like, today,
hello,
today
Uncle
is
Did-
The
the
whole
day.
Junji heard it.
I was like, I was like, I'm not here for this.
Priya's sister's not here for it.
I was like, put the phone down now and get inside and like,
What was your sister like? Dad, what the hell?
I don't even-
In-laws were like, is that how you get married?
I don't even think she knows, to be honest. But what I'm
Well, now
saying
she
is
does.
nothing stops. So
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur and having children and having these businesses and multiple different things going on, you never stop.
No.
Even sometimes, like I'd be out doing something and Jack's like, "Oh, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you thought? Oh, this person just got, And
never
our
ending.
husbands were like, we used to, when we had some huge projects on, we'd go out with our then partners, and they'd be like, "Do you know what? What's the point? You two are just always doing work. Like you don't switch off." So you have to also learn a balance, and you have to be able to like switch off. Okay, this is the time now. Blah blah blah. So having babies and going back to that, the sacrifice thing, it's even harder because you're not switched off. I know that now when I leave here, I need to go and do X, X, Y, and Z before I get home because then I'm back to being their mum. And they're going to cry and feed and poo and whatever else they need to do, right?
It's actually
So
even
you
harder
actually
as a
have-
woman, really, isn't
You
it?
actually have to balance it and fit it all in together. This morning when I woke up, I had to literally allow for myself to wash my hair, have a shower, get a coffee, and then do some payments that needed to be done, and then look at my emails. And then it's at end of November accounting, so I needed to send our the guy that works for us all the shit that he needs to do, so we can then go through. Like in your head,
The list is never ending, and I think people think like being an entrepreneur is easy.
and you click.
Yeah, and I think it takes a very special
Done.
sort of person
Yeah.
to be an entrepreneur.
So let me ask you here: you're a, independent, strong woman, being an entrepreneur,
Depends on what day it
etc.
is.
We're definitely not independent anymore.
But here's the thing: like you're going into networking events. Are people looking at you differently? Do people speak to you differently when you're trying to close a deal? When you're trying to approach a deal?
Because we're women.
Wait, one
Yeah.
sec. Before they've heard us speak or after? That's the
I
question.
don't know. You're at a networking event. You're
Before-
moving around the room.
you remember that
how are you
guy?
treated?
Oh my gosh. So
Do you think you're treated fairly?
No.
No.
So I went.
Why?
We spoke at Canary Wharf Pin. It was about a year and a half ago now. Jasmine was running late, or she went to get us coffees or something. I was in.
Probably running late.
I was
to
in
be
the
honest.
foyer, whatever, and I was just sitting there, like on my laptop, doing some work. And this guy came up to me. He goes, "Oh yeah. So today we're going to hear two girls speak today." I said, "Oh okay, really? That's interesting." He didn't realize that I was a speaker.
Yeah.
No problem. I don't care. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I actually wonder if they've got any properties." I said, "Oh, what makes you wonder that?" "Oh, they're really quite young." "Oh, okay. What do you do?" "Oh, I do rent to rent. I do this. I do that." Okay, cool. Then he asked me, "How many properties do you have?" I said, "You'll find out in the speech." And then he looked a bit shocked because obviously he said, well, he didn't realise that I was going to speak with Jazzy. So anyway, we carried on talking. Later on, he basically, at the start of the conversation, thought I was an idiot. Thought I was just a little girl sitting there because I probably looked a lot younger at that point in time. And then afterwards, he came up to me. He was like, "Oh, nice speech." He was shocked.
People underestimate us all the time, and
Why
there
do
could
you
be
think that is?
a multitude of reasons. That I can't.
You
I
know
don't-
the reason. Why?
No, being
No,
a female.
there's-
Let's call it a spade. It could be a multitude of reasons. So it could be that we're female. It could be that we look young. No, I don't know if we look young anymore. But when we first started, I feel like we kind of look young. I was 19. Priya was at 24. Like we were young, and now we kind of still look a little bit young. I'd like to say, if I got makeup on. And then sometimes it's because people are aware that, like, my mum has properties, Priya's dad has properties. So then the assumption comes, oh, you're it's family business, so you didn't do anything. So okay, that's another reason that we just write you off. Or it could be that we're brown. I don't know. I literally don't think I've ever gone up to someone and said, "What is your problem with me? Why did you underestimate me?" Because at some point in my life, I cared. I genuinely cared about why you were underestimating me as a person, or you didn't want to get to know me as a person. And if I'm perfectly honest, I'm not going to name names, but there are a few people currently big on Instagram that have been very, what's the word I'm looking for? They are very dismissive of myself and Priya. And it's not because we're brown. I don't think it's because we're young. But I have to go on that because we're female and we don't really care for you and your status,
I think that
because we made money and had businesses prior to Instagram. We raised money prior to Instagram, and we joined social media in COVID at a push because both of us are incredibly private people. Like, you won't see a picture of like our personal lives on our Instagram because maybe that gets more followers.
definitely does.
We don't care because our families and our friends have not decided to be a part of our social media life, and they have every right to remain private. And at no cost will we put them in a position that we would lose them or have a problem with them over finances, if that makes sense. So maybe because of that, we don't get clout or whatever, and we don't really care. We joined Instagram to inspire other females, mainly other people of ethnicity, to understand that this is no longer a white male dominated industry.
Do you feel it's still racist?
I believe the world is still racist. So how could this industry not be?
What makes you say that?
Because we had sometimes you walk into places and they're just like, oh, is this your dad's building? Or, you go into places, they're all like white, or
So
and
we
they've got an
were
issue,
part of this mastermind group, and
which was predominantly white, predominantly white, predominantly male.
middle-aged.
Yeah, middle-aged.
Oh.
So we were at this mastermind group, and Jasmine's mum and my dad were with us, and
Because we took them on for the journey, because why not?
and we basically actually both of us were in separate rooms at this point in time. We were on different table. I don't know, they split us up, whatever, probably because we talk. And then
We weren't in business at that point.
we were at the table, and you have to, if you discuss your deals that you're looking at. So at that point in time, I wasn't working with Jasmine. I was working by myself and with my dad a little bit. And so me and my dad were looking at a building in West London, and you had to declare interest if you were also looking at the same building. So a gentleman across the table declared interest that he was looking at the building, and he couldn't get the figures to stack, but I got the figures to stack. So he then asked me the question. Oh no, he asked my dad. He said to my dad, "So how did you get it to stack?" And my dad said, "I don't know, ask Priya." Because my dad doesn't get involved in what I do, and I don't get involved in what he does. We just overlook each other's stuff, right? So until I was ready for him to come and see the building, whatever, that's how we work, right? And the guy goes from across the table, "No, I'm asking you." My dad said, "Well, I don't know. I haven't even seen the building. So ask Priya." He goes, No, I'm asking you." So he didn't want to talk to me. Now, why don't you want to talk to me at a table? I've not met you before. I've not offended you before. I've never spoken to you before. You've never seen me before. So now I can only go by the fact that I'm a girl, because you wanted to chat to my dad. Or is it because I'm young? I'm not sure. So then he goes, "Okay, so how did you get it to stack to me?" I said, "I'm not really sure. I think I need to go to the toilet." And I walked out the room.
Wow. It's just, we got
Mic
to a
drop.
point.
Because
we used to be
I used to care.
Yeah.
That was the problem. I was younger. I used to want to feel validated as such in a room like that. Now I don't care. If you don't like me, cool, no problem.
Don't respect me. Cool,
No problem. And I also know that I can do it. I've proven to myself. Once you've proven it to yourself, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks in that room. I can get on and I can get up. And as Jasmine said, our business worked prior to social media. So we know that there's no fault. Social media and all these things, they aid us, yes, no doubt. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. You don't like me, okay, cool, no problem. You don't want to talk to me because I'm young, or you don't want to talk to me because I'm a girl, or you don't want to talk to me, whatever reason, no problem.
We're out.
We're done.
We're good.
Even we've had many deals where the agent has been so rude to us to the point where I've written letters of complaint because I think he was racist because I was young at that point in time. And we've actually left a deal that worked so well because I couldn't buy from him.
Yeah.
Because he was racist and because he was just a complete and utter tool.
Did that make good business sense?
Maybe not.
Made good personal sense.
But why I don't want to be associated
Isn't
and work
that not
with that.
getting too emotional?
Maybe. But you can make business. I feel like everything you do comes at the cost of your own, like, your value system. Like I even said, like we talked about, like, being ethical and stuff. Like, everyone always gets paid back when we take investor money. They get paid back what they said on time. We have conversations with them. Like, if we're running late on a project, there are conversations. I'm not going to, like, or I don't know, with tenants have, like, we're always about communication, always about conversations about certain things. We're not trying to screw over anybody. We're not trying to, like, not promise on certain things. Like, if we say something, what we say is what we mean and we deliver. And that's just who we are as people. And that's how our business is. Because we don't ever want to look in a mirror and be like, I screwed people over to get here. But I also don't need to be screwed over for me to make money, because money will come time and time again. But our mental health and the way we perceive what we do, like, property is not the be all and end all for us. Like, it's not like neither of us are like, oh my God, when I was 6 years old, I was thinking about renovating and I always wanted to be in property. No, neither of us are like this, okay?
Let me play devil's advocate
Yeah.
here. I did a deal in 2012, yeah? And it was a 1.5 bedroom house. Better land on the side, and I thought I could develop this thing. Somebody else I knew tried to go for that house 3 times and it just fell through, and it was something to do with emotion, because he goes, nah, the person I'm buying it off keeps changing the plan or timescales and this. So I just said, look, is it dead in the water? And he said, yeah, it's dead in the water. Cool. Would you mind if I tried? He goes, be my guest. Let me see you try to get this. So contact the agent. I said, like to go for this property. And I got it over the line. But it wasn't without its issues. Very, very, he asked for this circumstance, that circumstance, this. And I know he was just taking the piss. And I've got my valuation done. And once you get your valuation, the bank's already ready to give you that money now. So if the price changes, it has to come out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So basically, he says, I'm not selling this for 195 no more. I need 2.5 grand extra. Back in 2012, 11 years ago, I didn't have that much money. I had maybe one rental, and I'm just thinking, how am I going to get this? And I don't want to ask my dad for money. So, and then I asked my solicitor, he goes, the bank's already come and valued it. The valuation's done. You're not going to get any more. And I thought, I've spent money on a solicitor, spent money on a valuation. How do I get this over the line? Anyway, I spoke to my solicitor. He goes, you can put it under inventory. Say he's left furniture, and that's why you're paying even more. And that's why we changed the deal. Anyway, I found that 2.5 grand. I got it over the line. Now, as soon as I even bought it, there was bloody squatters in the bloody house. The day I took it off the agent, I was like, someone's living in there. And I had to negotiate with these guys to say, let me give you a month's rent to go and move somewhere else. Please just give me the property. I can't afford this. Fast forward now, I've already done my development. I've turned it into a 6-bedroom house, and it's in a prime location in East London. It's worth 800,000. So by going through that shit, and somebody who's trying to do me over, just with that stoicism of just keeping my emotions out and going, it's just a business deal, just get it over the line, that's happened. So what's to say that you might have got too emotional in that deal where you said the numbers stacked up beautifully, that could have propelled you even faster and ahead? And how do you weigh that up?
But I also think the issues that you faced are business issues.
Yeah.
They're
not personal disrespectful issues.
They weren't. Someone was not disrespectful to you.
But how do I know that?
But if
they could see on the paper and goes, Mr. Land's buying this.
But you know, it's the difference between when we went for this property, we got an email. So this guy owns the company, like the commercial agents. He didn't come on our viewing, right? Then he's obviously spoken to his viewing agent because we've viewed with them before, we've offered with them before. But this email, because it was it was 2 million plus for the property. I want this, I want this. This was pre-COVID, meaning that we didn't have like, we want to see your money beforehand, we want to see this, we want to see that. The
wanted
letter
a
he got
proof
was,
of
I'm a bit.
funds.
He goes, who else would you be doing this development with? Firstly, that's none of your goddamn business. Okay, who I'm doing it with. I've put an offer in. It's your duty of care to go and give the offer to your seller. You don't need to know. And at this point, now with COVID, because of how much people were buying, they were like pre-qualifying a lot of people. Pre-COVID, people weren't doing that. All you needed really was like, okay, what's your offer? Then I'll go and we'll figure. And then if it gets accepted or whatever, then we'll get all the rest of the details. When I say we got like a whole letter via this email. Okay, how old are you guys? Why are you buying?
Who will be
are you
your
buying
guarantor?
with? Yeah.
Who, why, how are you going to license this? How are you going to do that? Blah, blah, blah. So
None of this is any of your business. All you needed to ask, the only thing if he'd asked was proof of funds, because he did ask for it.
He did.
But
and
he
I said,
wanted
thank
a
you
proof
very
of
much.
funds.
Here's my proof of funds.
He didn't want proof of funds of deposit. He wanted proof of funds for the whole purchase.
And a letter from our solicitor
Like,
on
are you
top
right?
of that.
And this is prior, just as giving offer.
None of this was required.
None of this was required.
no.
Because even if you're buying a £2 million commercial property, who's buying that cash? And who is giving that proof of funds on the offer? They're not. They'd give a deposit and they say we're gonna go for development. We're gonna go for development finance because that's normal. And this is
Anyway,
post-COVID.
we
So
said
are you
thank
going to
you
name?
very
Are you
much.
going to name and
No.
shame it or
No,
not?
I don't even remember the agent.
I
name.
do. I remember.
Who was it?
No, I'm not saying that.
So
Okay, so someone else is getting screwed right now. Then
No, and if you've got a problem, it's a very well-known white-owned agency in Essex. If you have a question,
I'm from
please
Essex.
please feel free to DM us, and
not
I will
mine.
let you know who the agent is. Do you know, like, I know people name and shame on Instagram, and that's totally their business.
Yeah.
But as we grow, it's not our job to. It's just not who we are to put other people down. Now, if you are feeling a way about an agent and you have a direct question, 100% ask us and we will give you the answer. We're not going to sit here and like tear down loads of people because that's just not who we are. It's not necessary.
Look, so this leads us nicely onto the next topic, which is branding and how you brand yourself, how you carry yourself. You know, that does come with a certain pride to say, I'm not tearing anyone else's tree down to get myself to the top. Let's talk about the name, the Hard Hat Developers. Where's that come from?
We needed
living room.
Yeah, we needed a name very quickly.
We were going to be property pals.
Yeah.
You were going to be the property pals.
Priya really likes alliteration, so it was very important to her to have.
She's taking the piss out of me if you didn't.
No, it was mad, but I need to have alliteration in the name.
Basically, we were bidding on a property in Reading and we needed a company name very quickly. So we just decided to do that and just did that, went under that. And then when we were doing our branding, we needed that company name wasn't applicable for us. So we kind of just came up with Hard Hat. I don't really know.
We basically went back and forth and we just got bored of it and we just like, well, this will do.
Just get it done.
How long ago was that?
2019?
Yeah.
So it stuck with you for the last 4 years.
2020? 2020?
No, 19.
19.
Has it grown with you, that name, or do you look back and go, what was we doing?
I feel like we're not bothered either way.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. We're still
It's not
Priya
the
and
best.
Jasmine.
It's not the best. It's not the worst, I don't think.
We're Priya and Jasmine. We're still our individual selves. We're still a business together. We come under the name of Hard Hat. That's okay. Like, we're all right with that.
What's the goal? What's the vision?
It's ever evolving.
Long term or 5 years or?
Currently, we are
The finish line, when it's
I
all
don't
said and done and you're on your bed and you go,
I'd be dying. I'd be in my coffin.
you know, what was it all about?
What was it all about?
What was it all about?
What,
the
the
whole
business?
thing, the whole shebang, the whole lifestyle, the whole entrepreneurship, doing these deals, the sacrifices that you guys have been through. What was it all about?
Sometimes it's like fun.
Yeah.
Like sometimes but for us, property is a big part of it. But we also want to venture into other businesses.
Okay,
and
such as
anything that makes money. We are basically
anything, because what makes more money than property apart from like investing?
I'm not sure that
it's not just about that.
more money. I think it's also about challenging yourself differently. Like property gives you something and another business would give you something else. So like it depends on what we're looking at that point in time. Like we're looking at a few things right now and it's probably not going to bring in as much money as property, but it's another goal. It's diversification.
What are you looking at?
I don't want to tell you.
Or industry?
So currently,
It's not
this year
related.
we opened up a South Asian menswear boutique for groomswear in London. It's like a boutique specifically for men. So brides get it, men don't. So again, somehow we've ventured into another male-dominated industry, but there was a gap in the market. We saw it, we spent time, and it kind of worked, and it's been fun doing fashion rather than
How'd you
property.
find the gap?
Getting married, realizing that it wasn't here,
And there was a problem.
Yeah,
So
like
you're solving problems.
yeah, and it's also just about like creating. It's also about challenging yourself constantly. Like I feel like if you ask an
Why?
entrepreneur, because
Right, because we get
why
bored.
not? Why not?
What-
We don't want to be keep on doing 6-bed HMOs and buy rent to rent
Property
and
is
buy
very
to
rinse and repeat. Unless you're doing commercial, it's a very, very rinse and repeat model. Like when I first started, bought one HMO, okay, next month bought another HMO. By my fourth, fifth one, I was like, this is like going to Tesco's. I actually use that analogy to my life. I'm like, I'm bored.
So which area was you investing in?
Up north,
Sheffield.
Sheffield.
At that point in time. But what I'm saying is it wasn't challenging me. I needed something different. So we will always have property as our base, but the other businesses give you a little bit more of an edge to kind of use, like for example, the menswear, you have to be creative. You have to, the marketing is different. The advertising is different. The way we have to talk to the customers and,
The industry is different. It's very clicky, but like you get into it and it's fun. Like we've had children, maybe we want to go into something there with our like some if we find a problem, can we solve it? Like, and can we make money while solving that problem?
Have you heard of Freedom Mum?
No.
Okay, so she's a mum, obviously, and she developed this brand called Frida Mum and Frida Baby. And she basically found a gap in the market of products that she needed for her children when they were born. And she's done phenomenally well from basically sitting at home and having kids. There's another brand, I think they're London-based, and can I say it? I don't know her, but she's done phenomenally well. Her name's Priya and Peanut. She developed sensory cards. Again, she had a child and she just thought of a product, and her product's by no means like expensive for a card, like glorified sensory card that I put in front of them and they're like, oh wow. But ultimately it's a card.
Sometimes it's about just like we're in property and we like it and it can always be there, but why can't we like Prezaz and travel, and his secondary business from his travel business became property? Why can't we be in a property business and then also diversify it into another business? Because why does property have to be the be all and end all? Investment is investment, whether you're choosing it to be in the stock market, whether it's choosing to be in the property market, whether it's choosing to be in a business. We would rather have our hands in many, many pies and keep ourselves occupied and kind of ride the waves and learn and enjoy it. And we would rather have small pieces of many pies than one whole piece of one pie. Like that's just how we are. And I feel like as long as whomever you are putting your money into something smart, whatever that is, no one should tell you if that's the right or wrong thing. As long as you feel like it's the right thing for you, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you were doing something if it's a smart choice with your money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're here to create. I'm Priya will advocate for this. Like I believe that we as like ethnic people are not, our families are not taught how to keep wealth in our families. We're taught to basically be those people like, they don't have power of attorneys, we don't have wills, pay off your mortgage, and then what happens is you get older and then you have to go into a home, but your house is used as collateral, or you've not got anything for your tax sorted out because no one teaches you to spend a bit of money to figure out your kind of end goal in life. So what happens is all the money your families have worked hard for then goes back into the government or into the system. You don't get it, and you don't get generational wealth. And I think because we're immigrants into this country, our families are immigrants into this country, many people are not taught, or many families are not aware of certain things to keep wealth into their families, into their households. And I think that like they're like, stay in one lane, stay in one lane, stay. Why do we have to stay in one lane? Why can't we be in 20 lanes making 20 incomes? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Know what you mean, but I want to ask you a question, especially you, Priya. When is it all enough?
I don't think as a person it will ever be enough, because I continually want to grow. Why? Because I don't want to be bored. Why do I want to kind of... There's going to come a point in time when I'm like 60, 70, and I'm going to say, okay, enough's enough. Like, I've done my bit. Pardon?
Will you?
I don't know. I hope so.
When a hip gives way, sure.
I hope so.
Like, no
but
more now.
Currently, I don't see a reason that we need to stop. Or even, like, as I said, like, even if another business takes a U-turn, for example, say we start, I don't know, an ice cream shop, dessert parlor, whatever it may be, and it fucks up. Okay, cool. But we learn. We move from it. What I'm saying is I just don't want to be that person who has
Played it safe.
and studied quite some time, got into student debt for this degree and whatever, and then not also been able to use it appropriately. Like, I've worked hard. I've studied hard. I need to also, actually, I don't even think that studying helped me in life, but anyway, but I want to use it. I don't want to just sit at home. And that goes back to the same thing you said. How will your kids know that how to work hard and it's not being spoon-fed? By us showing them. Otherwise, they will never know. If I sit at home all day, or I don't work, or they don't see these things, you won't grow up around it. You won't know. I've grown up around it. I've seen it. My mum's never said to me, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you should go and do this, or you should go and do that. They've supported all the decisions I've made, as I will with my children, but they need to come to me and see it. Like, they need to see it. Otherwise, how can they believe?
Having heard a little bit of your story, I do feel that, a lot of your belief and your mindset comes from, like, maybe your father. Has he been quite a big role model in you, in your life? And maybe by not, like, him always being at the business and putting other priorities there, do you think that rubs off on you a lot?
Yeah, probably. Yes, so. I don't know.
I'm not saying anything.
I mean, honestly, like, would you have wished he was there more, like, present more in your life?
Not at all. I look back on it and I will forever be grateful for the opportunity he gave us. Because if he didn't make those sacrifices, and my mum, then I wouldn't be where I am today.
Are you an emotional person?
Currently,
mad.
yeah.
She is mad emotional. When it comes to her dad, please believe this girl could just stop and cry anywhere. Like, her dad is like everything.
Mm-hmm. Do you think women play a role in that as well? Because, like, my dad was always in the shop as well, 24/7, and we might see him in the evening, we might not, especially if Thaya had the night off. My dad would be there 10, 11 o'clock, etc. But the respect I had for my father was because my mum instilled that into me by going, your dad does this, your dad is that. When your dad comes, go and say Sasha, like, go and say hello, like, bring him.
No, I don't think my mum ever did that.
It's not really your mum's vibe.
It's not really,
But sorry.
Because there's a lot of women that do disrespect their partners as well, and they have a lot of competition with each other. And I feel that's a little bit lost nowadays, because the fact that my mom was such a good backbone to my dad, she wasn't the breadwinner, but she was the glue to the family.
But that's what you just asked me about my dad, and I was going to stop you and say, but it wouldn't be without my mum. My dad wouldn't be who he is today without my mum in the background doing what she does and still continually does till this day. So they are a team.
So what about relationships today? Can you talk to me maybe about your first relationship?
Probably your first.
Not really, no.
That's something you wouldn't want to discuss?
Not really.
I feel like
it's not relevant. I feel like I'm so old. Like, come on.
I feel like it's more relevant, like, to ask about, like,
my husband's relationship.
I'll tell you why. Because
okay, well, tell me why you went for your husband then. What made you like your husband?
Made you swipe right, Priya?
and made you want to be with him? Yeah.
Is it right? Would you swipe right?
Because a lot of women.
I'll try again tonight.
A lot of women do complain about their partners,
we
or
all
things,
complain.
Things have
Women
gone wrong,
complain.
Wait. Let's stop. Let's stop that sentence right here. A lot of people complain about their partners. Men complain about their wives and partners, and women complain about their husbands and their partners. People complain about people. Okay, it's not like a gender thing. Everybody complains about everybody.
Yeah,
facts.
What was your question?
Maybe women are just more vocal about it because you lot just sit at the pub and chat and then go back home and like, we're just more vocal about it. Like, everybody complains about everybody.
This is your podcast, not mine. So yeah, what I'm basically saying to you is more and more relationships are not working. So what qualities do you look in a man, and what do you expect of a man to do, especially where you're quite a strong individual entrepreneur woman who's got a strong mindset, knows her way around a pound note, knows how to buy a couple of
Who said
properties,
pound?
open
I
a
was like,
few
don't.
business, what kind of man is going to come and impress you? Because like a lot of like the old school way is, oh, he's got a lot of money, he's got a nice car, he's got a nice person, his family's nice, this will work. But hey, hang on, like she's good on her own. She's taken a lot of my power away of me being a provider as a man to come to bring something to the table. She could survive if she signed a divorce paper tomorrow. What do I bring to the table? So what does that guy bring to the table, Priya?
Wow,
What does he bring to the
that
table, Priya?
escalated. As in, why I
Can I answer from me while you have your thought?
yeah.
I feel like it takes a strong individual, someone that's very confident in themselves. I feel like there is a massive discrepancy between, and this is only from what I can tell from my experience in our culture. That's not to say that it's not the same in other cultures or whatever, is that us as females are being raised to be independent and to be, we are also providing, where perhaps the generation prior to us had the ability to be at home and stay at home mums. In the society we're in today, financially, it's very difficult for mums to just be like, just to survive on one single income is very difficult nowadays. So the mums are also working. So we're being raised to be educated, go to work, make money. But the men are still being raised, for the most part, to expect their wives to be like their mums and bring home money. So there's a massive discrepancy. But I think what makes, for myself, is to have a partner that is just strong in his own right. I don't intimidate him.
Does he have to have money?
No, because money is not everything. Like at some point you will have more than me. At some point I might have more than you. And I believe that if you're in a relationship with someone, but married, boyfriend, girlfriend, long-term partnership, is to build, if the goal is to build together. And if I'm at some point, your goal will be more important than mine. And it will require more effort from me to help you get to where you're going. But at some point, my goal or my dream or my venture will require more help from your side. And I can only hope that when you need me, I show up for you in abundance. And when I need you, you also give me the same respect back. It's not that I'm trying to dim your light because I'm making money and I'm good on my own. I want to be good on my own, but I also want you to be good on your own, because I don't want to be with you because I need you. I want to be with you because I choose to be. Every single day I choose to be with you, not because I need you financially or I need your physical support in something. We are choosing to build a life, a legacy, just a family together. And you're not intimidated by me and I'm not intimidated by you. And we just have a mutual respect. And I think it takes not only like strength in a partner, I think it takes vulnerability in each of you to be okay with, at some point, I'm not gonna be your be all and end all because you're building or you're working, and I'm okay with that, and vice versa. So don't be mad at me and I won't be mad at you. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but I think what I'm asking is, how do you find a guy with that trait? Like, how do you know you're not walking past him? How do you know you're not going to Iceland? Are Iceland still around?
Yeah, we just passed one.
Oh, Iceland. Yeah. How do you know you're not on Iceland? Yeah. And you've just done your shopping and he's beeped and he's just get that little eye contact. You can hear the music in the background.
But we are, I'm out.
Old school.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't
How
care
do you know?
if you own a mansion. If
Yeah.
you're doing that in your car, don't chat to me. I'm good. Thank you so much. Oh, that's creepy. She'd be into that.
No.
She loves him.
Oh, look, she's smiling as well. She was like, yeah, well, actually,
I'm out.
you know.
I'm out.
But I'm just saying, like, how do you know that ain't your perfect partner, but you're just
don't.
missing them
You
and you're just walking over? So what traits do you see? How do you find that partner? Where is
I
he?
don't think
How's he
it would-
talking? What's he doing? How do you give him the opportunity to give him the spotlights for 10,
do-
15 minutes to go, actually,
do you know what
I
honestly,
didn't.
nice.
Jazzy, Mickey,
You know?
maybe.
She didn't even want. Does she know this?
Yeah.
Okay, she didn't even want to go on a second date with her husband. Like, she literally was
I was-
forced by about 3 of us to be
Yeah.
like, she's like, oh, he didn't even talk. Blah, blah,
No,
blah,
he
blah.
talked too much. Gave me a headache.
She was like,
Oh,
no,
wow.
she was so rude. And I was like, bro, go
I'm
on another
done.
date. Like, just have a go. Like, you don't know. Like, don't be rude. Also, first date is
He was nice, don't get me wrong, but he just spoke a lot. I came back with a headache. I was like,
and this is her. Do you know how much she talks?
I don't.
I will call up 5 people right now and say, who talks the most? And they'll be like, Priya.
Who talked the most today, Sean?
Well,
Me,
Jasmine has, but you've been a bit quiet today.
But she's just like that. Watch.
She's like, ask me a question, then I'll speak.
Yeah, I don't like to. No, no, it's fine. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like him
She
on the
didn't like
first
him. She had
day.
to be forced. I feel like you can't say. I feel like firstly we're not relationship experts. Number
Yeah,
one,
and
so we can't give
secondly,
you advice
everybody's
on that.
journey.
You
Everybody's
spoke
journey.
about hour and a half and all that, but all right. go on.
Everybody's journey is very, very different.
I feel like
And
you should
what
just
you
be, you
also
should just be
look for,
kind.
what you look for in your partner or your wife or whatever, is probably different to what I wanted, and vice
What
versa.
did you want?
Someone who was kind, someone who was caring, someone who was funny.
What about Asian
Probably looking.
families and your dad's a millionaire, businesses,
No, my dad's not a
you're an
millionaire.
entrepreneur, and then you've bought somebody who's working in Morrison's. What's your dad going to say?
My husband does work in Tesco's, actually.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
He's not saying there's
I'm
anything
just
wrong with
playing.
it. He said,
I'm just saying
I'm just saying.
he's not from the same status. What
Irrelevant.
part does your family play and go, is he up to our level? Will he understand the business culture? Will he know how to manage this sort of money and protect it and reinvest it? And that's what we do generation on generation. Or is he going to say, nah,
Gosh, come here.
we've got
This is
money.
a good question.
Let's go traveling. Let's just take a year off. Why can't we do it? We've got the funds. You know, and like, and maybe people like your parents will at a distance go, we can see that coming, but older than you, and their belief system comes onto you. Like maybe, you know, that guy you actually wanted, you know, it got impacted because Asian parents do get involved. They do. Let's be honest.
Okay, yeah, fine, they get involved, but I think and we've had like conversations. You know what the end goal is. You know what you want to
What's
achieve.
the end goal?
No, it was in like for me and my husband. We know what we wanted to do, how we wanted to live.
So he's asking you what that was. What was that you wanted to achieve? What was these conversations you had?
Well, I don't know, because that's forever evolving now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you.
When I first started
Are you
dating,
still learning about him?
every day, I'm seeing him in a completely different light at the
That
moment.
will be really like, you know, if somebody English might have been watching this, yeah, I've just seen on my Instagram, one of my friends, Ashley, if you're watching, we've been together 9 years now, and now he's got on his knee and goes, now it's all right to, you know, give the, you know, engagement ring ready, you know, 9 years to get to know somebody, like they've just hit their 30
But
sort
I believe
of
you're
thing.
forever evolving. And if you weren't I'm not the same person as I sit in here in 2012
True.
when I first graduated. I'm not the same person as I was this time last year. This time, I'm not the same person as I was the day I got married. And we're always continually changing. And if you have a partner and you have a husband, you're continually changing together. You're working together. If you told me 5 years ago when I first started dating Rishi that we would be sitting here with 2 babies in 1 year, I'd think, what the fuck? This is my life's not a film. Because that's actually what's just happened. Like, it's been a whirlwind.
Let's go.
How do you keep adapting? How do you keep it like alive between you two? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not working. It's not working anymore because you changed."
No, but that's what I'm trying to say is you have to, like, if you're not
Well, how did
communicating.
Rishi know that?
Rishi know
That
what?
he needs to evolve with you as well.
But these are the conversations you kind of have when you're dating. What your end
Okay, so what are these conversations?
So, for example,
what's the list? What's the top 10? Come on, let's hear it.
I don't really want to.
I don't think I ever heard anything. I'm thinking,
you're-
come on,
Yeah, but like you had a
there's certain
conversation that
things
at
you'll
some
accept
point you
and
want to be a parent.
Yeah.
At some point you want to do this. At some point you want to.
I don't know if it's a conversation so much as I think it's like a personality thing. Like I think relationships are tough. I think any relationship is tough. Like mine and Priya's relationship has evolved in this last year and a half, 2 years. We are not the same. We are different people. What my expectation of Priya was and is has changed and also has been changed because like Priya said she wanted 6 months and she's like, okay, I can't do it in 6 months. And what we originally had spoken about has changed. You either love someone enough and care for someone enough to give them the time and time and the flexibility to evolve with them and try. Like we try. We used to talk 100 times a day. Now
I had to message her in the morning saying, do you want to go to Sean together so we can talk? Because we don't talk.
Oh, I'm glad it was that, not are we going to Sean's?
Oh, that was definitely the thought last night when I found out I was in East London, not in West
it's
London.
not East London.
Wherever
North London.
This is North
Whatever.
London. I
London,
don't
mate.
understand why you
Whatever.
don't understand maps.
I don't understand. I
I
literally
sent you the confirmation 3
Do
times.
you know what it is?
Yes, I know, and I had
She didn't research
baby
her
brain.
postcode.
Do you know
No,
what
we didn't, because you said Wood Lane.
He actually said Wood Green.
Would be.
I think
When
you
I
evolve.
you know the reason I figured this shit out that I had to be here today because my dad said, where are you going tomorrow? I said, Wood Green. He goes, what, Tottenham? I said, no, I'm going to Westwood, mate. So then I got
She said Westwood. I went, no, it's
I got
Wood Green
my
Shopping
phone
Centre.
out. I got my phone out and I was like, what?
Do you need to hold your phone as you're showing him that you
I
or getting your phone out?
Yeah, I saw that. It said to, Jasmine, he's an idiot. No.
But yeah, I think it's just a mutual respect.
You've got a little sister watching right now.
I do.
Yeah. And she might be 18, 19, 21. She wants to be an Instagram model. She's thinking, I'm going to get a lot of attention. I'm going to meet the right guy. You're advising that person right now. Top 5 things what to look for a guy to have anything sustainable. Because there's another guy who's just rented a Lamborghini, looking all flash and go, yo, baby girl, just like sit upon
Not
here.
baby girl.
Yeah. Let me take you out to a nice restaurant. He's living paycheck to paycheck. He's just being flashy, bold, giving her the dream. Next minute, he's got her up the duff, and he's a no man. He's a waster.
this story's getting worse and worse.
He's a waster. What
How long
advice?
did you think of this
what
scenario for?
advice
Is this
are
a
you?
hypothetical, or are you actually telling us something
What
that's happened?
advice?
Is this your little sister?
What advice are you giving?
Be happy.
No.
Yes, because she might be happy living paycheck to paycheck.
Be happy.
Well,
but
I'm
do you know
telling
what
you,
it
she's
is?
not happy because
But
she
you
because
can't
she
change the criteria, Sean.
she got sold. She got sold a dream.
Sean,
The
you
guy's
can't-
got a Lambo and
Hold
taking her
on,
to
hold
nice
on. You-
restaurants.
Okay, wait. But
We're living in a council flat now.
But nobody in life should be selling you a dream. You should be selling that dream.
But there's guys out there doing that, is what I'm saying. So how does a woman find out that that's not that guy?
Yeah,
You should know, but you should know yourself what you're
She doesn't know herself. She's very simple.
You
She goes to
feel-
normal school. Her mum's working in Tesco's. Her dad's
Why
just
is
doing his
normal
finance
people
job.
working at Tesco's?
She's have plain happy families. They're all coming together and they're like, "Are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine." And then she just sees that she's a very
Yeah, but
simple
Sean,
plain girl.
You can't keep changing the goalposts.
Yeah, you are changing the goalposts a lot, Sean.
You're changing the
Nah.
goalposts as the story evolves.
What advice are you giving your young sister right now?
Don't
who's
get
watching?
knocked up by some random. Hey, like, is that what you want
But
me
she
to
might
say?
want to be
But
knocked
Jasmine,
up.
Fuck's sake.
but Jasmine,
I'm
he's
out.
the one.
Yeah.
He's sorted himself financially,
too.
and he talks the talk and walks the walk.
No,
This-
some
this-
people, honestly,
But I
in
didn't
life,
know he was checking
but
3 other girls
but
at the
some
same
people in
time.
life have to learn the hard way. That's just how it is.
Nah, you don't have to learn the hard way. You've got to learn off other people's mistakes.
No, but that's not everybody.
Yeah, and this is what a
But
mentor
some
is there
people-
for.
Yeah, but that's
A
not
mentor
everybody.
helps you
I
to
can't
take
learn
a
everybody,
shortcut.
Sean.
I can't
You're
learn
correct.
of Jasmine's
You should.
mistakes.
You should.
Okay, so someone's watching you and thinking you're a mentor right now and waiting for some advice
And
of you.
then I would say, for me personally, I feel like don't get into relationships until you know what you want from yourself, what you want for yourself in life. I feel like this whole self-love is a big thing, but I feel like you should. I think there's a compromise here at some point.
I think you should just be happy.
You should be happy, but happiness comes in so many different forms, and I
And she
feel
might
like,
be happy in that
It
situation.
isn't just about being
one's
happy, though.
You know,
It
no one
isn't
is not
just
happy
being about
24/7.
happy.
That's a lie. No, not one person in this world, not even Jay Shetty himself, is that this all the time.
He's gonna come for you, mate.
Never. I don't give a shit. Never. No one is happy 24/7 all the time. Like, I'm so happy. I'm the happiest person. I do affirmations and I'm No, it's a lie. Because everybody has shit days and everybody has chosen circumstances and then they're sad in a day because life is stressful, business is stressful. So I feel like to be happy is a goal, and it should be, and it should always be something you're working towards. Or I hope that you're always happier than you are sadder, if that makes sense. But if you're in a situation and you're looking for someone, I don't think it comes with just like I don't think it's just like romantic relationships. I think it's like, look at this person that you're around, your friends, your family, like, your partner. Are they where you want to be? Do they say things that you understand, that you like? Like, if someone's 19 and they're driving around in a rental Lamborghini, is it because it was like a birthday gift that someone gave them, or they're just wasting money 24/7? And if they're wasting money 24/7, like, girls at the moment want to be taken to like Novikov because all these Instagram people are on it. But you're 20, bro. Like, you should be hustling. You should be saving your money. You should be making smart financial decisions. Sometimes I see 13-year-olds like chilling with like a massive drink in Starbucks. And I'm like, how did you afford that? Because that's like £6. Do you know there's a cost of living crisis? Why is your parents giving you like unlimited amounts of funds and you're walking around with like Gucci trainers? You're 13 years old. Like, this makes no sense to me. I'm frustrated for you. This makes no financial sense. I feel like if you're looking at someone and you're like, how is this happening? It's probably not. It's probably a facade. Like, oh, I've got 100 trainers. Yeah, but do you own your car? Or is it leased? Question. Can you afford to go on holiday? Have you racked up credit card debt? Like, girls are looking for guys to provide shit for them. Provide it yourself. Why are you looking to other people
she is going to provide it herself.
You don't know that.
But she's an Instagram model.
She's trying to be.
She's
Doesn't
trying
mean that
to
she
be.
is.
It doesn't mean she's earning anything.
Thank you. doesn't mean anything.
She's looking for that
See, Sean's
sponsor.
just changing the story.
No, he
there.
didn't.
No,
You-
she's
what
trying to
you-
get
what
that
you took
sponsor.
from
She's
it,
trying to
what
get that
you took from
endorsement
it
to
is
say,
yours. This
let
is
me
you
put
not
your
listening.
bikini.
Yeah, this is your non-listening skills.
Because this is just too much. This story.
I feel like you
I'm
should.
out.
I feel like it's.
I feel like we need a new question.
No, I feel like ultimately, as females, I feel like you should just provide for yourself, whatever that looks like. People like I know people.
You had to say 5 things.
Well, the only thing I can say to you, the only one thing I truly know, is you should find means to provide for yourself.
Find
then-
means to provide.
That's 5 words, not 5 things, isn't it, Priya? I feel you should just try to provide for yourself, and then other people should slot into your lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
I
So
think
what
you
you're
should-
trying to
I
say
think-
is be the best version of yourself, know yourself, love yourself, and then you'll be ready to
I
add
think
value to somebody
also
else.
maybe
But
go and find like an agency to help you be a model.
But do you know what? Do you know? And maybe this is controversial to say, but you know all this whole self-care, love yourself. I think people take it too far, okay? Because they're like, oh, I respect myself, and then they don't want to compromise. Like, do you know, like when you get into a relationship, I've got standards. Everybody's got fucking standards, okay? But it doesn't mean
Women
to like.
are worse for it though.
Huh?
Women are the worst for it though.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not changing for nobody. I want this. I want
Yeah,
that.
but
I want
guys
this.
are the same as
Do you know
well.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're just like, hey, listen, like, where's the balance?
I feel like
here?
there's a double standard for
But I feel
everybody. I feel like provide your own guys, make your own money. Women, make your own money. There's absolutely nothing wrong with if you're going out places like you pay for one thing, he pays for the other, or you pay for date 1 and he pays for date 2, whatever. Like,
So you think men and women should take it in turns to pay the bill?
You can't say I want equality and then be like, you pay for everything. That's not equality. That's stupid. That's selfish. Like, that's dumb. You can't be like, oh, he's got no money, but then keep on spending all of his money when he's getting out. Like, it's ridiculous. Take me on a date and spend £300 on a date. Are you going to spend £300 on a date on him? Probably not, because you believe he should pay. But you also want to be respected, and you want to be taken seriously as a businesswoman, but you don't want to pick up a bill. Like, this makes no sense. You can't have equality and then also expect him to pick everything up. It's dumb.
She's shouting.
I'm frustrated.
I think women should support men more as well.
I think
Yeah.
women. I think everyone
see the
should
bigger
support each
goal.
other. Yeah, like, but you can't have it both ways. You just cannot.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I like that point. But Priya, I need to pick you out on one point. You
Yeah.
said money's not that important and stuff like that. It is important. There's
I agree.
studies out there done that people are stuck in council estate. They can't afford their weekly shopping or afford to go out. And she's like, I'm stressed out. We never do anything. And they might love each other madly, but they're not happy. And 90% of their problems is because of money.
Sean.
Have you got the council tax bill?
First of all,
Yeah.
you literally have a lot of scenarios in your head, and I'm quite worried for you how much you think about these things.
I do, because I worry about the kids down there. I
No,
really do, because women are going and couples are getting
But
through
listen,
this.
Yeah.
And you do
when
see
I
that
say
quite a lot.
money is not everything. Money is everything in the sense that you need it to survive. What I'm saying is money is not everything in the sense that you do not need that fast car. Property does not buy you this in that X amount of time. You need enough money to be content.
How much money do you need to be content?
That I can't tell you.
No, what could you live on?
I can't tell you that because first of all, I don't think I even know the answer.
What you know of your means? What would keep you happy? Would you be happy with a 3-bedroom house and this a micro outside?
Yeah, as long as my children are happy
Earning
now.
50k, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
No,
She seems to disagree.
I'm not talking on behalf of Priya. I'm talking on behalf of
not for
myself.
you.
I think that now, since having my kids and life has changed for me in the last couple of months, as long as they are happy, they are healthy, and they are doing well, and they're content, I don't think that, for example, I don't actually remember that Jasmine said to me when she saw me, why are you wearing so many new clothes? This is not new. She hasn't seen it because I didn't used to fit into it. Now
She's not skinny mini.
So now it's my old clothes, but she's just not seen them, right? I don't like. For me, money is very important. It's a vehicle to allow opportunities in the sense it can, you can go and do things. You can have time together. You can go on holidays. You can have a nice car. You can have family activities. But the be all and end all goal in my life is just to raise now 2 happy, healthy children. And I do need money to do that, but I don't think I need abundance of money.
You don't need millions. You just need hundreds of thousands.
I just need. I need to be able to, and as Jasmine said, we don't know also what life might bring. In 5 years' time, my son might say to me, Mummy, I want to go to school in India and learn to be a cricketer. because that's what his dad wants for him. But anyway, that's another story. I might have to pay for that. If that's what he wants, that's, you know, and this is a dream of his or his dad's, I don't know. And he wants to kind of pursue that. We will make it happen.
But I feel, Priya, the fact that you've been brought around money and you've got money, you can say all of these things. And for other people, they're looking from down there and go, she's got money. If I had money, I'd be talking like that as well. So you've obviously got a very, very different mindset. And what I'm trying to get to is, how do you get into that growth mindset, that abundance mindset, that
I'm still
money's
trying to
not
get there.
everything?
I'm still trying to get there.
Honest, a business partner to business partner, Priya's mindset around money has been ever evolving.
Yeah.
She has come from a forum that finances have been free flowing, so much so.
I wouldn't say
for like for instance, like, it might not need to be a conversation when she was younger to say like, okay, we don't have money to buy a car, so we have to get the bus. Do you see what I mean? Like when she
Don't get me wrong, I went to private school. There's one day I got sent to the headmaster's office. Your dad hasn't paid the school fees. Leave. If your mum doesn't pay the school fees tomorrow, you're out. Don't come in.
So it's not to say
At 14 years old. And my little sister was standing with me.
How did that make you feel?
Like, oh my God, what the hell? I can't come to school tomorrow. Like, you don't understand.
Was you angry at your dad?
No, I wasn't angry.
But her dad could go on a killing spree. She would not be angry at her dad.
But
she loves her dad.
You think I'm quite an angry person, don't you? Because you've asked me twice now if I'm angry. But it's not anger. It's you don't, as a child, you do not understand. Now, when I sit here and I look back on it, it was a hard couple of years for my mum and my dad. It was, not every business thrives year to year. You saw COVID. My dad's primary business is a travel business. Who was traveling in COVID? No one. Who wanted a refund for the next 3 years of holidays? Everybody. There have been some very, very tough times.
So how do you get through them dark days?
You have to stand up and you have to fight.
And how do you do that?
Well,
you take hits, like you downsize, or you figure out.
You sell your car. You don't have a holiday.
What car are you selling?
Sorry?
What car are you selling?
I don't have a flash car. Well, okay, it's not extremely flash.
In your opinion,
it's not extreme. It's not.
No, take it back. In your opinion, you don't have a flash car. Someone else, that's a very nice.
It's a very nice car.
So what car is it?
It's just a BMW.
Which series?
2, small. I didn't have kids at this point in time. It was just nippy. We were on the motorway all the time.
What do you drive now?
BMW 2 Series, mate, with twins.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
With twins.
Oh, why has that not been upgraded?
Why?
Because
I don't have the funds currently. If you are, that's why.
You've got £1 million in assets.
Sorry?
So?
You've got £1 million in assets.
It's not my priority.
No, wait.
Does my car get me from A to B?
No. Listen to what you said. But you've got £1 million in assets. But that's not cash.
But it's also not my
So what's the
priority.
difference?
Currently, if you gave me £1 million, I would still not buy a new car tomorrow.
I feel like that's a bad decision.
No, but
I'd buy a bigger car.
I can currently survive in that car. It's getting me from A to B. My twins don't know any different. It's cool. It's a struggle.
What if
sometimes.
they did know different?
It's a struggle because
Would that be a different conversation?
No, because the issue that I have currently with my car is I can't get a double buggy nicely in the boot. It's a mission.
Okay.
But it still works.
Why are we not upgrading?
Why? Because that's not my priority currently.
So what is your priority currently, Priya?
Put the money.
I feel like I got a co-host today.
Pardon?
I've got a co-host with me today.
What's your
I think I've
priority
got
today,
a new person for the
Currently-
podcast. We're going to do a duo
Currently
now.
to use that money and to reinvest it somewhere else. My car
Okay.
can wait. I need to make
How long have you been in business now for?
I don't know, 10 years nearly? Next year?
How much do you earn a month or year, roughly? In what bracket?
Not a lot.
If you're smart. Life is tax deductible, no?
I don't even...
No.
Is it more like 100 grand or $500 million a year? What are we talking about?
But what's the relevance to this
I'm
question?
just asking, first of all.
No. I don't like talking about these sort of things.
Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, I can't ask my next question then.
Well,
What's the next question?
Next question is, the thing that's really hard to do is, especially when you are coming from a hard start and you live within a certain amount of means, it's hard for you to live a certain lifestyle later on, even when you do have the money.
Yeah.
You make an excuse to say, I'm going to buy that, or I'm going to reinvest that, or I might miss that opportunity. Why am I going to be silly and put, 50 grand in that car? Or no, you can still be smart with finance deals as well. But when is the right time to start letting some of that cash go? Because from the outside,
What
it's
do
like,
you mean to
To
enjoy?
enjoy.
Do you mean to enjoy the cash?
to enjoy it along the way,
Yeah.
like the journey, because life is very short.
But you know, enjoyment is
Subjective.
subjective. Like if you ask me, like not last year, let's say the year before, I was away 12 times a year. I've travelled, like there was no expense spared on when I went, how I went, for how long I went, because all my money went on travel, because that's what is super important to me. That's what I valued.
The experience.
Yeah, and like my mum was always like, when you get married and you have kids, she's like, you're never gonna have like as much flexibility, and you're not gonna want to go to places and whatever. So she's like, while you can, go live your life, go enjoy it, and do whatever you want to do. Like that was good for me, and that was the decision I made, and I will never. My regret is I didn't do it as much as I wish I'd done more, because there's countries on my list I wish I'd been to, but. Say if you look at what I've spent my money on and what Priya spent her money, they're two different things.
Priya, what do you spend your money on?
This girl used to be a raven on a regular.
Yeah, I used to be on holiday, but stupid holidays, not like life holidays. Like if you ask, like Jasmine's seen the wonders of the world. She's done exploring, whereas I was just in Dubai being an idiot.
No, not being an idiot.
Like,
just living
life
that
differently.
Life. Living
Is
that
Dubai
life.
real?
No, not at all.
Because everybody said, let's go and hang out in Dubai. Joshua's there, the celebs are there, events are happening there. Everybody wants to hang out in Dubai. Like, what's your opinion on
I don't want
Dubai?
to hang
Because
out.
you've been there quite a few times, haven't you?
Priya basically lived there.
I don't want to hang out in Dubai anymore. I want to see the real world. Why? Because I'm like, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I had so many good holidays. I went with all my friends. It was like it was a good vibe, good nightlife. But I'm not at that. My point in life now is different. Like I'm looking to go on holiday next year. I'm looking what's good for my kids, not for me.
I've heard you need to earn at least 100K a month to live in Dubai and have that lifestyle.
But
Is
I've
that
never
true?
lived in Dubai.
Do you know what?
Probably.
I could easily believe that.
But you need that. I would say even like probably if you went and lived in New York.
Yeah, but no.
No, probably. The cost of living in New York is crazy. The cost of food, the cost of rent, the cost of buying property. Like, it's not
Much.
So we've touched on quite a few topics, and I think we should be very fair to this podcast and to the viewers at home today. So let's talk about some of the deals that you guys have done.
Yeah.
So could you talk to me about one of your most favorite deals, potentially because it's made you quite a bit, and tell us the process from start to finish. Like, what's the newest space? Because you've said the old system is now broken. You can't just buy a house, 3-bedroom, find a tenant. Interest rates are high, inflation is high. You're not getting that return what you used to. So what's the new thing? What's the new flavor? How are we making money in property now?
well. We are looking more towards commercial projects up north and more so HMOs within London and kind of getting the balance of the two. And the commercial projects up north, we are then turning into 1-bed studios or into HMO rooms or into flats and then selling them on. And then the kind of the HMOs in London keeping and holding as their own little businesses in themselves, aren't they?
Sounds quite easy, like just get a house, chop it up and create a
really
little kitchenette and stuff.
Stop it.
But what is the blocks? Because I know normally you have to worry about the council and what the council will approve, and what other things are you avoiding
What, like to buy?
to make sure that it happens, what you're going to do? So you could buy a house and the council goes, you're not doing that.
So we do enough research to hope that the council doesn't do that
What
for
sort
us.
of research are you doing? Can you tell us like how to do a case study sort of thing?
So, for example, if we're looking for a house in, I don't know, let's say Uxbridge, a HMO to turn in a 3 to 6 bed, we'll make sure that it's not in Article 4. You need to kind of look at the planning that's happened along the road, look at what's been rejected, why it's been rejected, what you're trying to achieve. We have a team.
So generally the ones in London, if we're converting them, if you're below 6 bed, you won't need planning permission. It will stay. You'll just need the license. You won't need the planning permission. So you can, as long as it makes money as a 6 bed, it's a good deal for us. And then we would we would do it either two ways. So we'll buy the property, start to convert it as 6 bed. Whilst we're converting into a 6 bed, we'll apply for planning to convert it into like say 7, 8 bed if we can. If not, it still makes money as a 6 bed.
What got you into these kind of deals? Like, how did you find out about you could do this or explore this avenue?
You mean as in like the HMO avenue?
Yeah.
Or property, just everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just kind of naturally. Well, to be honest, I bought when I was 19 at uni, and HMOs were not a thing. So there was no like licensing, there was no products available. It was like renting
Room to room.
yeah, that's what it was. So you'd get a buy-to-let mortgage, just let them know what you were doing.
But if you actually think about it, HMO's been around for years. Like when my grandparents came to this country, they lived in a shared house where they rented a room, and the next person, random family, lived in that room
It's
there.
only
And
recently-
someone lived in the lounge downstairs.
Only
and
recently
it's become
the
a formulated.
mortgage companies have cottoned on to the fact they can probably make more money from it. So whatever. And then
Everybody wants a piece of the pie. So how do you make money? Because the councils, they want to put all these rules, regulations on. Then you've got building regulations, soundproofing, all of them sort of things. On top of that, the lending company goes, the more money you're making, the higher rate we're charging. You know, interest rates are high generally. Like, where is the sweet spot now?
That is a good question.
What
When
a
you find
great
you find it, let me know, because we are always looking. And
I'll tell
that
you a
is.
few ways, but yeah.
Pardon?
Because I'll tell you a few ways.
It's
Difficult, isn't it? Like I think you just got to be more, like you've got to be smarter when you're looking at
and more
stuff.
adaptable and flexible. When I first started, it was very easy to dominate in one area. Jasmine started very early on in Kent. When we first started, I started early on in Sheffield, and then Jazzy kind of then moved into Stoke. I moved further north, but the problem is if you're not adapting, and I think as we've touched upon before, you need to be able to operate in. A lot of investors don't do this, operate in different areas, because different areas bring in different things. For example, in Stoke, there's a lot of manufacturing plants. In COVID, a lot of the manufacturing plants decided to pause or close down. Then those people from those HMOs ended up going back home, wherever that may be. So then you've got a void period. If you didn't have a well-balanced portfolio, then you wouldn't be able to cover the void period there. So when you're working like us, where our property portfolio works as a business, so we know that, okay, if there's in Stoke, there's a void here, we can then kind of pull it back from the HMO in London because that's making X amount, so it will cover that 2 months of the house not being let.
How do you balance risk? So how do you know if you're a risk taker or you're risk averse? Where are you on that spectrum, and how do you
I
place
am
yourself
very
there?
much, I depend, I can be risky and I can be very risk averse, and I think Jazzy would agree with that. Like
That's quite wide.
Yeah, it's very wide.
It's
but
very-
because it's based on fact, and how you said I'm emotional, but when it comes to making a business deal, if my facts don't add up, I can't do it.
Numbers don't lie for Priya.
Yeah.
Like numbers don't lie at all. If her numbers don't stack,
My gut can lie, because everyone's gut can be wrong, correct?
yeah, fact.
At
Can be-
some, your feeling might not be the same feeling today as it was yesterday, correct?
Maybe.
No, it's not maybe. It's a
your gut
fact.
can steer you sometimes in the wrong direction. No, it might be
I'll
like
give
90.
I'll give you an example.
I find my gut don't let me down a
Do you know
lot
what
of
it
the
is?
time.
There's human error. You can put in human error for anything.
I'll
But I
give
think with Priya, for Priya, numbers, everything.
I'll give you an example. It was just pre-COVID. I went to the auction room with my dad, Bernard Marcus, and we were bidding on a property in Greenford, right?
Okay.
This flat above a shop's complete nonsense, to be perfectly honest. But for my dad, that flat was everything. Why? Because he lived there when he was a child, and my granddad owned the shop below.
Wow.
And he ran it as a newsagent. So my dad wanted that. Why? Because his dream, he didn't want to live there, didn't want anything to do it. He wanted to do the flat up. He wanted to have his whole family there, back there for one dinner, and then rent it out. So it came round. We knew where we could go. We knew where we could stop. And he kept going. And I walked out the room. I had to leave him. I said, I'm not part of this decision now, because now you're going with your
Being
gut.
silly.
And where are we getting this extra money from? Firstly, okay, find the money, it will happen. Secondly, it's not now a business sense, correct? But his gut was telling him that he wanted to do something for a different reason, not a business reason. Whereas my gut was like, we're based on fact and figures here. Okay? So the next day, when he's had time to reflect, not even the next day, because he was still upset the next day and the next day, week later, he goes, yeah, that was silly.
Good job, you didn't get it.
So when you have a feeling, sometimes your feeling can be influenced by so many different other factors without you realizing it. So for me, when we're going into a deal, I need to be sure that my numbers are correct. I've done enough research. I know what I'm doing. I know the process. I potentially can foresee the stumbling blocks that may arise during the process, like you mentioned, planning, building control, all of these things that you touched upon. And what I was going to say earlier, these are not problems, because being property developers, our job is to solve problems. And I quite like those, being on the count. Oh, actually, this is not, I like trying to figure out the answer to this problem. Sometimes we're completely lost in a minefield, and it's like, okay, I don't know the answer to this. This building was classified as this, or I've argued with water companies for 15 grand bills, and they're telling me that the pressure is not enough, and we need to do this. And no, we don't actually. I know nothing about water pressure, but I'm guided on fact and what I do know and kind of bringing it together. And that's what being a developer is about. So your gut can tell you something one day, and then tomorrow, actually, in hindsight, you may look back and think, actually, no.
It might be that you were in a bad mood, or it might have been that someone had said something
We were
to you and made you...
excited, or an agent said, "Oh, do you know what? I sold that down the road." But actually, okay, cool. That's your gut's like, "Oh, that's." And that moment in time, you're like, "Okay, cool, that's good." But actually, then when I've gone home and done the research, the agent's talking bloody shit, and it's not actually that. So then you're influenced again. So you need to be able to be adaptable and flexible, back to the question, in order to be in property. And I don't believe you can operate in one area, no problem, but then your risk is very much higher. So for the risk, the question back to, are we risk averse or are we risk takers? It really depends on the deal, the point in time, what we've got going on in the background. Are we opening another business? Is our attention on our children at this point in time? Are we, I don't know, going on taking a break? Is Jasmine potentially going to have another baby next year, and I'm going to have to do a lot more of the work, which is not a problem, but I'm just like giving an example. It's not just one thing. And I think being an investor and being a business owner, that so many different factors play a part.
Yeah.
And for me,
the time in your life.
Yeah, and the deal.
See, you say you like to experience things yourself and you learn as you go along. Talk to me about one of your worst deals then.
Okay, so this is prior to Jasmine. I was buying a lot in auction, one a month, nearly. But by accident, I bought a short lease flat, and I didn't know about short lease flats. So to extend the lease, it cost £120,000. Obviously, then I'm not really going to make any money because I was buying a flat to flip in auction. But then on top of this now, on top of a refurb, I've got 120 grand to extend the lease to then go and sell on. So I didn't know enough about short leases. So what?
In the mic.
Sorry. I didn't know enough about short leases. I didn't know that short leases are a minefield in its own. You need good people, good team to kind of support you and help you, surveyors. And, there's legislations around it more so. But prior back, I think it was about 6 years ago, there wasn't. So you had to pay that £120. This section needed to be served. This wasn't served. And if it's not accepted...
Section 42, is it?
Yeah, and then if it's not, but also you can be sold with the benefit of that. But if they actually haven't accepted it, it means fuck all. So I entered a whole minefield. That was probably one of the worst mistakes I made. But in hindsight, it was probably one of the best mistakes, because then I became the short lease finder person.
Right.
Because then I was doing that constantly.
Do you know the short lease king, Jason Patterson?
No.
Oh.
I'm not really on social media that much anymore.
Okay. No, little plug in for Jason. Now he's called the short lease king, and that's all he ever conveys and teaches. Like, buy something with a short lease, make sure it's got a section 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it's accepted. But when you don't know, you don't know, and you're not familiar,
you just don't know what you don't know.
Then you're talking to your solicitor, and my solicitor's like, "Oh, you don't know," then you feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I've just gone and spent 360,000, bought this flat, don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm stuck. And you're at a stumbling block. Okay, well, this is a huge, huge error. But it's also, you live and you learn, right?
How do you deal with that?
As I said,
a lot of people beat themselves up.
I do beat myself up.
Why did I do this? And it keeps going round and round in your head. How do you get through that? Because a lot of people don't get through that.
You have to you just have to find a way to make it right. Solve whatever errors happened. Kind of, yes, you will be financially at a loss, but then you pick it up somewhere else. So your next deal, say you're making, I don't know, hypothetically I made an 80 grand loss here. Next deal, you need to make 80 grand more.
What if that was all of my money there?
Pardon?
What if that was all of my
money
money
there? Then you go and find some more money and you start again.
Do you know what it is? I feel like people jump in too early sometimes. I feel like they bite off a little bit more than they can chew. So we've had clients that are like, oh, the first property, they're gonna go and buy an auction. And I remember even talking recently, they're like, oh, you can't even go and view the property, but they've seen, like, they've done their research, like online research, whatever, and they're gonna go and bid for it. As your first property, buying an unseen lot in auction is
I've done that too.
But as your first one,
Not as my
no.
first
I
one.
mean, it's that's risky. That's silly.
Suicidal,
That's a
mate.
silly decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? Are you okay? So I feel like it's about making smart decisions. And do we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes? Yeah, because sometimes we feel like we've been in it for so long, you should know better. But sometimes what you learned in your first deal 10 years later, you forget because it's been 10 years and you've only come against that problem once. Do you remember that? No. Do we write everything that we learn? No. Like, life goes, you just go on with it. So I think you beat yourself up a little bit. As long as you're learning from the mistakes, and you're gonna be like, next time I'm gonna be smarter. What did I do wrong here? What would I do differently? Like, like do kind of an assessment over the decisions you've made. But also, like, we have each other. So sometimes Priya made it, but like we weren't in it together. But she's made it like a boo boo, and like she'll be pissed off about to herself. This my job as a business partner to be like, okay, but it's done now. So you've wallowed on it for a day. You're pissed off. I understand. I know you're annoyed. I'm annoyed. We lost a bit of money. We figured it out. But it's not the end of the world. We move. And it's your job to kind of motivate the other person to just get on with it and vice versa. So sometimes like you have a low day.
It's good to have people who are supportive around
Yeah,
you as well.
and
A
that
good
understand
system
the
that
language,
pick you up
yeah.
when you have a bad day. So you've got £50,000 right now. You're new to property. What are you doing, Priya?
Oh,
50 or 15?
50.
we're gonna do 15.
I don't know. I didn't hear the question. What am I doing?
Where are you investing? Which area?
I'm gonna take Priya's 50 and go buy a property in London.
Done. And that's why we're business partners.
That's my business partners.
I feel like I can't answer this question without any research.
Oh my god! Welcome to my
Yeah.
life.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
Because I can't just aim to say, oh, I'm going to go to Stoke. That's ridiculous. Why would I do that? I don't know what's there.
Welcome.
I do know.
Welcome
but
to my
why
life.
would I give you an answer? I can't. No, I can't answer that. sorry.
how about yourself, Jasmine?
Like I said, I'm going to take Priya's 50 and I'm going to add it to my 50 and I might take your 50 and give you some money on it and buy a 6-bedroom HMO in London.
Right. So how do you convince me to let go of my 50 grand to give it to you? So like,
I mean,
what you're saying
listen,
is
you're literally
investor.
asking how long is a piece of string. To get an investor, it's not for me to give you 1 or 2 tips. It don't work like that.
Because that is the thing out there, isn't it? People get people's
yeah,
money
you
together.
use investor money and that's totally
And do you use all of that cash to buy it outright?
Again, it's still dependent. Like,
yeah.
I honestly believe you can't ask a specific question in property. And for someone to give you a specific answer, you could ask me, what did I do on this deal? And I can give you details specific on that deal. And that's okay. But to say, like, how do you use investor funds? Like, we always have our own money in every single deal we do.
I'm talking about a 21-year-old who's working and saving right now and looking at you girls for some inspiration and go, how do I start this journey? What advice are you
Be
giving?
educated.
Yeah.
Go and get educated, and not educated via watching free YouTube videos and reading books. Like, you have to sign up for £20,000 courses. You don't have to get a mentor straight away. Just be educated. Just look at yourself and be like, okay, I follow this person. What is this? Like, understand the basics and fundamentals of investing and then decide on a route. The beauty of property is not that you're supposed to be like, I could look at you and be like, I'm going to do exactly what Sean did, but I'm not Sean. So why would I do exactly what you did? That makes no sense. What do I do? What do I want to do?
circumstance.
How much time do I have? How old am I? What am I looking for? How much money do I have? How far do I want to invest? These
What's
are
the
questions.
end goal?
Yeah.
Am I still working? Am I not still working?
Do I have kids? Do I not have kids? Do I have a mortgage? Like, all of these, do I want to travel? Like, why am I
Basically, Sean, we
investing?
can't answer any of your questions because they're very dependent on
But
everything
you
else.
should be looking at yourself. Property should fit into your life, not you into someone else's property. Like, it doesn't make any sense. If I was just to go and follow what you did or what X, Y, and Z on Instagram are doing, you can follow me and do what I did and just cookie cutter what. No, I can take bits of your business and your teachings and apply it to what I want to do. But should I be doing the exact same as you when I'm not the exact same person? Kind of makes no sense.
When you spoke earlier about your deal that you said you bought a 1.5 bedroom house and you turned it into a 6-bed house. If you asked me to do that as my first deal, I'd say no. Because that's just far too risky. You had to go and get planning gain. You had to take the time. You then, but if you told me about the issues that you foresaw, like the squatters and all those are not a problem for me to deal with. Mm-hmm. But the fact that for my first deal, it did not have planning and I was kind of working at that being like a beginner, that wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because
it actually wasn't. I wasn't relying on the planning. That would have been just a bonus for me on top.
But
of
I'm
it.
just giving you an example. What I'm trying to say is like You just don't know. So you
yeah.
need to you need to make property adaptable to you.
Yeah.
And my end goal and your end goal is
Yeah.
very, very
Totally
different.
different, yeah.
Or like I feel like if you're young and you're like, you have, some people go all in, and that's great. Like I feel like one of our clients, I didn't even told you this, one of our clients literally, like, we were speaking the other day, and she's got like over 100K a year job. She's got a kid, and out of nowhere she's like, I'm basically, my husband's staying working, I'm leaving, I'm going full-time in property. When I did not see this coming, because they're just not those people. And she's like, that's what I've decided. And I think that's risky, because when you have a family, there's a lot relying on you. But if you guys can figure that out, great. If you're 21 and you're working in a dead end job that you don't really love, and you feel like this is what you want to do, go and get educated. Go and figure out, like, people want to jump straight in. There's a lot of background stuff that goes into property, or into a business or into investment, before you just all of a sudden go straight in. If you leave your job and you've got no understanding of what you're doing, how you're doing it, how much you need, that's irresponsible. Like, in my opinion, I think that you should go and learn, go and understand what you want to do, spend the time. Like, I know it's boring doing all the research. Maybe it might take you 6 months, maybe it might take you a year to figure out. But it's not a year wasted. It's a year figuring out what you want to do and making a long-term plan for your life and your business and your finances, and then go and do that. That's okay. And that's totally fine. And that would be our advice. Like,
Be
slow and
comfortable.
steady.
Don't chase.
Yeah, don't copy
Just
people, and
allow
don't
it
be like,
to
oh, this
be
guy's
attractive.
making X amount of money and
No
got
FOMO.
20 properties in 1 year, and no. Yeah, but you know what? What you don't know about these people that you're chasing to be like is, how much of their business do they own? How much of the passive income undertaking? You don't know how much money they've got left in. You don't know how leveraged they are. You don't know what deals they've done on the side. You don't know nothing about their business. So you get the highlights, but you don't know the intricate details. And in any business, the intricate details are what make the money. There might be a silent partner sitting there killing life in his 200K a year job, that's lent in the money, that's got all the names on the properties. That's the guy you want to be like, the one that's not in your face. Do you know what I mean? So there are so many different ways to cut a business, cut a property business, cut a property deal. It doesn't have to look like what you're being sold. So research, figure out what you like, figure out what you need, figure out how much money you want, figure out what kind of lifestyle you need, and then start doing something. But be educated, make educated decisions.
I like that. So knowledge is power, basically. I want to ask you, how is AI changing the industry? You're very analytical as well. At the same time, Priya, do you use any apps or something to help you? And where do you think it's going?
I don't think I use it as well as I should be using it. So I think there are tools and things out there that are very useful, but currently we have a team that work for us. So they do a lot of the AI, or instead of using an AI, like the data researching, the data scraping, the kind of the research task, they do it, and they've been taught by us how to do it. But it's probably something that I need to look more into. So I don't feel like I can. I feel like I've been a little bit out of that for the last couple of months, so I haven't really explored it, and probably should be, to be honest.
AI has taken over a lot of things, though, and
So
a
many
lot of
things.
jobs have
So many
gone.
things.
You know, and even things like, I believe, you know, people say you could buy a bit of the Eiffel Tower now. It gets put on a
I don't know that.
on a sort of platform where you can buy a pixel, and it actually means that it's guaranteed that as long as the Eiffel Tower is still standing, you can buy a little portion of it, and it goes up in value over time as well.
Have you done that?
They're called NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Yeah.
It's part of the crypto system.
Yeah.
If you see it, people are doing that.
I do, and
you
people are
know?
doing it very well. I just don't know enough about it. And like you said, I don't like to speak if I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But do you feel that you do need to get more educated around that
Probably,
side?
yeah.
Because
That's the way of the world, how we're
Yes.
evolving. Yes,
Yes.
probably very, but just currently haven't had the time to do so.
And finally, let me just ask one last question. And it's a very valid question because it's on partnerships. Partnerships can be very good, yeah, when you've got someone who's flexing in and helping you, but it could be the worst decision of your life because both of your names are on that piece of paper,
Yeah.
on that business account. One could be draining it, one could be not putting in that work, and it can be very, very frustrating. What would your top tips be when looking at a partnership and thinking, hey, I've just joined an academy right now. I've met a like-minded person. They want to do property. I want to do property. Shall I JV? What traits? What should you be looking for before jumping into bed with somebody like that?
I think you have to Personally, I wouldn't do a joint venture with someone if I haven't worked with them in some capacity prior to the joint venture. Wouldn't want to be tied financially or by an asset with someone who I haven't worked with prior. And in whatever shape or form that may be, lending money or, I don't know, sourcing or just, having a working relationship with, or kind of, peer-to-peer learning. There needs to be some sort of relationship prior to a joint venture.
So do a little test run.
Yeah.
We could have some challenges
Like
and
a
then
few
see how that
dates, right?
person
Yeah.
reacts.
You
Like
need
a few
that.
dates, like
You don't know anybody from Adam when you go on like a networking event, or you've gone on like a training event or a course or whatever, and then all of a sudden that you're like, if you're so adamant that you want to learn together, great, like do that. You don't have to jump into business with someone straight away, like and tie your names together, and if you were going to do that, have agreements in place, have boundaries in place. Like even
So with these agreements, how do you not offend somebody? So somebody's like,
if someone's offended by that when you're going into business with them, you're out already. Because
It's funny.
if you
Red
can't
flag.
have those awkward conversations, then it's not. If you can't have an awkward conversation saying, "Listen, we're about to go into business. We're about to buy, let's say, £200,000 property, and we're going to do a renovation. We're going to sell it, or we're going to be long term renting it." You're connected with this human being, and you can't ask them to sign a piece of paper to have both of you be like safe. Then you should not be in partnership with this person. Do you know how many uncomfortable conversations me and Priya have had to have? Like some of the conversations me and Priya have had to have, especially around finances, are more than I've had to have with my husband. And it's uncomfortable. It's dirty. It's just like, you like, especially myself, and I know Priya's the same. You build yourself up like, oh my God, I'm going to have to say this. How is she going to react? Or what if she says this? And what am I going to say? Or like, our families are really cool now. Like, is this going to affect our family? Like, I know Priya through my husband. So is it going to affect her relationship with my husband? Like, all this shit goes through your head. But if I can't have that conversation with Priya and she can't have it with me, and by the way, we have a couple of instances not been open with each other on certain things, and not that we've been hiding, that we just either it hasn't come up or one's felt awkward saying it, and it's come to bite us, not hugely,
such as?
like an interest rate that was given to an investor. We wasn't clear to each other. Should have been. Because we forgot, and I didn't ask because it was a close relationship to Priya. I didn't think I had the right to, but that's my business partner within the business. We should have asked. Do you know what I mean?
So you said a few things there. The first thing that you've sort of said is work with each other in some sort of capacity. Second is be totally clear with each other. So that basically means like make sure you understand and ask all the questions that you want to, and nobody should be shying away. And what's your final top tip
What for
for
working together?
partnerships? Yeah.
I think you have to be prepared to ride the waves, because it's not always as fun as it looks like. Me and Jasmine stand on stage and we talked about what we do, and we portray on Instagram and it's all fun and games. It's not. Some days are really hard, some days are really dirty, and sometimes having a partner, it's like I said earlier, sometimes it's like having another husband. Like, I have to, you do have to explain yourself. Okay, why hasn't this been done, or what's going on here, or where is this, or whatever. So you have to be prepared to be open, communicate effectively, and it's not all as glamorous as it kind of seems having a business partner. Sometimes it is hard. If it was just myself, I don't have to answer to anyone. But then at the same time, I don't have the benefit of having another opinion or having another idea or cutting a floor plan like this, or like I said, I need another 6 months. I don't foresee having any more children. I want to enjoy it a little bit more. I wouldn't have that flexibility. Like, I think it's peaks and troughs, and as your relationship evolves. For me, a huge turning point with Jasmine and I is I lost 2 grandparents within 6 months and our big deal came through the week my nanny passed away, and I didn't have the brain space to comprehend or do it. It got to the solicitor had our funds, like we were ready to exchange, and I just said to Jasmine, take the money, give it back to me when you can give it back to me, and just go ahead, change a company, and just do it in your own company, and you figure it out. I'll be here to support you, but I can't do it currently. I don't have the brain space. And she turned around and said to me, I'm not doing it if you're not doing it. We found it together. We're business partners, and that's perfectly fine. She said, I've got it until you're ready to come back, but I'm not taking your money and I'm not doing it alone. So for me, that she put her kind of, she said she would take it. At the same time, I said to her, you can do it yourself. Just don't worry about the funds and we'll figure it out as we go. But she said, no, it's our project. I've got it. You know, for me, what more could you ask for in a person?
Brilliant, that loyalty, you know? You don't find that
No,
very
you don't.
often.
So for me, that was a huge turning point. And like you said, when I went into business with Jasmine, my dad said to me, what agreement have you got in place? I said, I don't know. At this point in time, we didn't, because it was all talk. It was all, excitement. Let's do it. Let's find it. Let's, figure it out what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. And my dad was like, well, okay, you need to go back and you need to have some conversations. What's going to happen if this? What's going to happen if that? Blah, blah, blah. And we had those conversations. And I think it's very important to have these conversations, but they're not always easy. That for me to tell her that I didn't want to come back to work was very difficult, because I don't want to feel like I'm letting her down. I know what she has then on. It's also jeopardizing then her time. It's, these things aren't easy, but the purpose of having a business partner, I believe, is A, to make it fun, more enjoyable, and B, to kind of ride the waves with someone and to be able to help one another.
And Jasmine, how do you deal with that when your business partner is saying, I can't do this?
Can't do what?
I can't come back right now. I'm away, and you just do it by yourself. This one.
I don't even think I processed it.
I'm still working. Don't get me wrong.
No, when I feel like I don't start something with someone to not finish it. Like it would never feel like my own. And we wanted to do it together, so we wait. Like there'll be something else. It's okay. There's deals in abundance. There's things in abundance.
You're also not saying no to anything. If something came up and I found it or Jasmine found it, we'll move.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not sitting in the office 9 till 6.
No. But she's saying I feel like it's like the whole relationship thing again, isn't it? Like you have. I never wanted to be in business with anyone other than my family. Priya was the same. So to organically find somebody that had the same kind of values and ethics as you and was kind of on the same wavelength as you, it was very organic, and it wasn't like, let's just do it. We kind of were learning together, and we were putting time, energy and money into learning, and then we found something, and it just made sense. So when you're in it, like for me as a person, I have lots of acquaintances. There are very few people that I trust in terms of my money, my personal information, my struggles, my vulnerability. And when me and Priya got there, that's it. I'm in. Like, I'm in with you. You're in with me. I'm loyal. If we're doing it together, and we'll run together quicker. Like, it's be better. And that's it for me. So I'd rather go with less people and go with the right person and go slower together. It's just better. I just know that we're safe. I know that no matter, even like on Priya's personal stuff that's not included with mine, if she needed me, I'd roll up for Priya, no problem, and vice versa. And that's what I feel like you need in a partnership, because it's beyond our business. It's our lives are kind of joined. That makes sense.
Well, just want to say a big thank you for both you girls for appearing.
Yeah.
You were supposed to just come on, like, sort of speak about property, and I know we have touched on that, but we've brought a lot more value because I believe a lot of our communities are watching some of this, and maybe a little bit of better understanding how the new generation is also working. So just want to say thank you so much for sharing all things personal as well. If you guys just look straight into your camera and just let my audience know how they follow you or find out more about what you guys do.
Priya?
You can follow us on Instagram, where you're most active, the Hard Hat Developers, and you can drop us an email at info@thehardhatdevelopers.co.uk.
There you go, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. I know I did. I was quite selfish, but don't forget to smash the like button. Leave us a comment. If you've got a question for Jasmine or Priya, make sure they get it and it gets answered. And please, don't forget to share this with somebody. Share it with an auntie or uncle, just to let them know what's going on and, more about our South Asian community. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.